Oh, hello, everyone. How's it going? Oh. Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. We're ready to sit around and wait for quality to get underway or get postponed again? Oh, morning everyone. Hope you're well. Or afternoon, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Because wherever you are in the world, it could be very different for you. But yes, morning everyone. Good to see you, Levy, Export, TC, Taco, James. We had a membership while I was not even here. In Andrew Best. Thank you, buddy. Welcome to the pit crew. Solid 3:15. Yeah, I was about to say, Taco, what time is it for you where you are? Wow, commitment, man, commitment. This is a tantric quality, Mark. Evening, Nicholas. Good to see you. Good morning from Athens, Greece. Lovely. What's the chances of qualifying, Alistair? I think it's quite high. I think it is. So it's raining. It is raining, but it's not as heavy as it was yesterday. So the track is wet, but I think they are happy with the track conditions, so we will have wet tyre running. The problem yesterday is that obviously it tipped it down. It was like torrential rain, really high winds, and it was thunderstorm conditions as well. Visibility wasn't great. That's the main reason they stopped it. But now it looks like the visibility is a bit better, and well, it is a wet circuit. It is raining, but it's not as heavy as earlier, so yesterday. So if qualifying is postponed, I'm holding me personally responsible, Finton. It's fine. I'll take the blame. Hello from South Africa. Hey, Prince, good to see you, mate. What's the story? Morning glory. Lured me into that one, haircut. Lured me into that one. Good to be with me, Andy. Good to be with you too. Yeah, morning everyone. Welcome. So, I'm waiting for the data to go live so that we can get those updates, in particular from the race control. At the moment, it seems that there's no postponements from what I can see. Yeah, nothing that I can see at the moment in regards to postponements yet. So, we'll see. So normally it looks like what happens is, as we saw yesterday, is that every 15 minutes they were pushing it back, and we haven't had an update on the quarter past mark, which we've now gone past, as it's 18 minutes past the hour wherever you are in the world, and yeah, that means hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to be going ahead. It looks better on TV. It does look a little bit better. Yeah. So is it raining? It is indeed, Para. Yeah, it is still raining, but it's yeah, not too bad. How long did I get to sleep, Josh? So I didn't go to bed until about 1:15 in the morning. That's when she eventually went to sleep. I let Mum go and get some sleep because I'm back to work tomorrow. So technically it was my last night shift for a while, and because she'll be taking over those duties. I then woke up again at 5, so she went down for quite a while. I woke up at 5, didn't get her back down again till 6:15, and then I went and had a few more hours kip. And I kid you not, I woke up 20 minutes ago. The missus had to come in. I slept through my alarm, and the missus had to come and wake me up and go, by the way, you're going live in 15 minutes. So, yeah. Apologies if there's bags under my eyes. Chatting from Brazil, Fabio. Nice one, man. I know Brazil's a big place, but if you're in Sao Paulo, what's the weather like? Morning, Joel. Good to see you, mate. You woke up at 7 a.m. Nice. 4K. I saw, Taco. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. I'm so far away from that mark. Sam, good to see you, mate, as well. Mike. Oh, the mods are in full force today. The mods are in full force. Didn't they arrange some Lewis driving centre car? Did it happen? I've seen they've cancelled that. Yeah, I think they might have cancelled it, unfortunately. It was supposed to happen yesterday, but the weather conditions just didn't allow for it. You've had 5 hours sleep, Kelly. We are thriving. Let's get me to 50,000 subscribers, Stephen. Oh, that'd be absolutely amazing. I'm taking it 1,000 subscribers at a time, though. we had a great time yesterday in our just chatting stream while we was in the waiting room for qualifying. So thank you for everyone for tuning around, waiting around for so long. I mean, we've already got 400 people eagerly awaiting qualifying getting underway. TV coverage isn't really showing too much of the race circuit at the moment to see exactly what is happening. But yeah, the data hasn't gone live yet, so just a bit interesting in quality. Normally it's already gone live for me. Is McLaren using type of cooling agents for tyres? Yeah, this is the rumour that's just floated around the circuit. So basically, Red Bull have lodged a complaint, guys, about McLaren and Ferrari. And they are concerned that McLaren and Ferrari have found a way to insert water inside the tyre to help cool it. And the reason why they've done this is because they tried it a few years ago and they couldn't really implement it properly. And now some of the people who were involved in that have now left Red Bull and gone to Ferrari and McLaren. They reckon they've perfected it and they're now implementing it at those teams. So they've asked FIA to look into it. So, which is intriguing, very intriguing, but I don't know, maybe clutching at straws because Red Bull are really suffering on race pace compared to Ferrari and McLaren. So all you want to see is Lewis passing George and maybe wishing for a safety car podium for Lewis. If it's going to be a rain hit day, which supposedly it is, anything's going to happen. Won't need to cool tyres today, Drew. No, definitely not. It's not water. Heat instability is too much. Might be nitrous or something. Yeah, I mean they're saying water. That's initially what the reports are, but I don't know. I'd be very surprised if they're able to get away with something like that. Oh wow! So this is, when was this taken? 8:41. Well, that's 8:41 AM. So that's not really relevant in regards to what the track looks like now, is it? Okay, so track conditions do look a lot better, ladies and gentlemen. It's wet, but it's not anywhere near as bad as yesterday. And once we get, no doubt, 20 F1 cars out there doing qualifying laps, it should hopefully remove quite a bit of that water. Colapinto to Red Bull. Yeah, so this is still developing. So I have now seen that it might not actually be Colapinto to Red Bull. Now, Carlos Slim is rumoured to be backing now Colapinto, which is great for him. But it seems that the discussions might not actually be about Colapinto, guys. It's about Carlos Sainz. Christian Horner might be trying to acquire the services of Carlos Sainz, even though he signed a contract with Williams. So Carlos Sainz may step up to Red Bull actually in the end, and even though he's got a contract with Williams, so he's trying to figure out, so obviously they still need to negotiate a release deal with Williams because he's contractually with them, he has a contract with them, and Colapinto would then step up into the Williams seat for next year. Yeah, I can't keep up as well, guys. I can't keep up. It's mad. It's mad at the moment. What a change of circumstances that would be for Carlos Sainz, eh? So I reckon it might be, I mean, maybe this has all been influenced by Carlos Slim. Maybe it has been. We know Christian Horner has a relationship with Carlos Slim because of Sergio Perez, and the rumours are he now wants to back Colapinto. Well, maybe the rumours are, and obviously we know that there's no seat for Colapinto next season. Now it looks like as well, but Bortoleto is wrapped up for that Sauber seat next season. Bortoleto, who's leading the F2 Championship, he won F3 last year. He's currently a McLaren driver. He's about to do what Piastri did, and he is going to be signing for Sauber next season. So it's, yeah, lots of changing, moving parts still. And I reckon Carlos Slim has kind of gone, you need to get Colapinto a seat for next season, i.e. probably Williams. Go and get Carlos Sainz. That's probably what Christian Horner's done. So, yeah. Or what Carlos Slim has told Christian Horner. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And no doubt, maybe, I don't know, Maybe Red Bull are still looking within their own academy system, or maybe with Carlos Slim's back in, they're still keeping an eye on Colapinto. You never know. But I believe Carlos's contract has an exit clause, but if Mercedes or Red Bull offers him a contract, he can accept it. I would assume, Christopher, but yes, something like that. There's got to be a provision, no doubt, in Carlos's contract that he can get out, basically, of it. So the question is, how much is Red Bull willing to pay to get Carlos Sainz? I think they'll pay a lot. I think they will. I think they'd much rather... I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're not confident in Liam Lawson still to step up. Yeah, I don't know. But what a turn of events for Carlos Sainz if that is the case. Very quickly, like, don't look at me, Steve-O. Yeah, James Vowles actually came out and stated, Christian Horner was only visiting our hospitality area because we've got a new coffee sponsor and he wanted to try out the coffee. That was quite a quick-witted response, to be fair. Bortoletto on loan to Sauber. I would assume, Goonie, yeah, I would assume it's on loan. I don't think McLaren would give up Bortoletto like that. So I imagine it's on loan. Because that dynamic between Piastri and Norris could turn very sour very quickly next year, and who knows, Piastri wants to move elsewhere, Norris wants to move if he doesn't get the support. So, yeah. Like I've said before, and I know people have said about team orders and so forth, they don't like it, but Lando Norris not getting the support from McLaren like he did in Monza, like obviously being told in Hungary you're going to need Oscar, etc, etc, and for it then not to have for him then not to have that support, or for them to renege on that, that's the type of shit that forces a driver out of the team. So why is the live data still not live? This is a bit frustrating right now, guys. Let me just see if this is updating itself. Okay, so the F1 data is really lagging behind at the moment from where I am. So I'm waiting for that to go live. My connection is definitely not unstable. So we'll see if we can get this going. But I don't know if others have got issues with this at the moment. Where's the data, Albon? I'm trying to get it up. Normally it's already active. I mean, I've got the track map, but the actual data itself has not gone live yet. And maybe it's because of like we're so early in the morning. I'm just going to check some other channels to see if they're struggling as well. No, they've got it. So why have I not got it? Why have I not got it? Give me a second, guys. Just trying to sort this out for you. Yeah, it's issues on my end. Bear with me, bear with me. Bear with me. For some reason, I'm the only one who doesn't have data. Very frustrating. When in doubt, guys, when in doubt, just turn it on and off again, you know? When in doubt. When in doubt. Right, let's go. Let's rock and roll. Let's sort this out here. Woo! Little panic attack there I was having. I was like, what's going on? What is going on? Right. There we go. We're good. We're good. Whew, just in the nick of time. Just in the nick of time as QUALI is about to get underway in literally moments, seconds. Whew. All good, guys, all good. There we go, green light, pit exit open. Just in time. What was I worried about? What was you worried about? I was worried about nothing. Here we go. We have qualifying, guys. W's in the chat. W's in the chat. Qualifying is underway. Whoop, 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 whoop. I think I'm delirious with the lack of sleep, guys. I think I'm delirious. So, those of you who answered, will quali get underway? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Now, we just have heard on the radio that there is more rain on the way in 15 minutes' time. So, at the moment, it isn't raining, I don't think. So, we do have a wet circuit, of course, with everyone on the wet compound tyre. So, how quickly can these drivers get up to speed? What is this brand new track surface going to be like, ladies and gentlemen? How slippery is it going to be? No doubt, all of the grip that has been laid down over the duration of Friday and yesterday morning has disappeared. So let's see what is going to happen. Who's really going to come to the forefront here? We know that driver skill, rain is the great nullifier. Driver skill is so important here, and confidence. Now, the wet tyres don't have tyre blankets. So that's what Lewis Hamilton was complaining about. I made a dig at Stefano Domenicali yesterday in the pit lane, that if we had warm, wet tyres out of the out of the pit lane, then we may be able to get out there yesterday. So we'll see. If no doubt we're going to have some offs here. No doubt we're going to have some offs. So let's keep an eye out on these times. The driver's going to find more grit and confidence as this session goes on, as Alex Albon is the first driver out there. So let's see how Alex gets on. And, well, these early laps could be important, guys, because if rain is to arrive before, more rain is to arrive before, and there's a yellow flag already as Liam Lawson has gone off into the last corner. There's a double yellow. Liam Lawson is off already on his outlap. This is not a good start for this qualifying session, guys. This is not a good start. I was about to say that the early laps here could be very important because the track, the rain is due to potentially get harder in a moment. But before he's even started his lap, not a good start to his weekend. Looks like Liam Lawson has rejoined the circuit eventually, but that's not a good start to his weekend. Is he able to get going again? Hopefully he is. Maybe he's just waiting. But you can see there that Esteban Ocon has gone quickest in the first sector due to and it's green. Liam Lawson is back underway. So it shouldn't affect anyone's laps as Alex Albon is navigating his way there through the middle sector, and Lando Norris is also navigating his way through the middle sector. So at the moment, you can see Esteban Ocon green in the first sector, 22.9. Zhou Guanyu's very slow, 24.6 for him. 48.3 for Norris in the middle sector, so that's like more than half a second quicker than Alex Albon in the middle, as Alex Albon's coming across the start-finish line for our first time in a 1:32.4. We're around 20 plus seconds, around 20 plus seconds slower than we were the other day. And Lando Norris goes quickest with a 31.6, but Ocon is purple in the second sector. Carlos Sainz fastest in the first. So no doubt, as I said, we're just going to see drivers no doubt get confident from the get-go, and we're going to get drivers who are going to build that confidence. As yes, Esteban Ocon 1.6 seconds or 1.5 seconds quicker than Lando Norris. So yes, this is the great nullifier. Welcome to a wet qualifying as Zhou Guanyu has gone off. Zhou Guanyu has gone off at the last corner, and he's about to get in the way of his teammate. It looks like track is clear. I think Bottas will be okay. And yes, we're seeing drivers struggle. We've seen Lawson go off there already. We've seen Zhou go off into the last corner. So struggling in that last corner. Let's see how Charles Leclerc does. He is about to come across the start-finish line as he's following Zhou Guanyu's wake at the moment. Valtteri Bottas has dove into the pits because his teammate got in the way of his lap time, and Charles Leclerc goes in with a 32.9, so not a quick first lap from him. How about Carlos Sainz? He's going quite nicely as Carlos Sainz goes into P2 as we have another driver. We've had Lawson, Zhou and Stroll off at the last corner. I'm calling turn 12 the last corner as Fernando Alonso goes second fastest. How is Lewis Hamilton getting on? He's about to come across the start-finish line as well in P18. Not a good first sector from him. Doesn't look like his second sector was any good either, and, well, he's sixth fastest. So, yes, this track is going to get quicker and quicker, guys, as Yuki Tsunoda is fastest in the first sector as it currently stands at 22.7. Purple's changing up and down the grid here as Max Verstappen does a lap time that's 9 tenths slower than Esteban Ocon. What a lap from Esteban Ocon, ladies and gentlemen. Stroll, fast after going off at the last corner on his outlap, is fastest in the first sector, and we have Stroll off again. We have Stroll off again at this fourth corner. Oh, my days. Oh, my days. Yuki Tsunoda up into P3. Sergio Perez up into P4 ahead of his teammate by half a second. Of course, it's a busy circuit out there as well at the moment. Lance Stroll has had his lap time deleted. Lewis Hamilton has had his lap time deleted as well. So, what is going on? What is going on? Who's actually out there on the lap right now? As Lance Stroll, before he went off at turn 4, was actually fastest in the first sector. So Lando Norris is on an out lap at the moment, I believe. But yes, at the moment, the fastest first sector and the fastest second sector belong to Stroll and Alonso. And the fastest last sector belongs to Sergio Perez. Unbelievable. So Sainz with a slight improvement there. I think it was a 31.5. But he was very slow in the last corner, in the last sector. Charles Leclerc, let's see how Charles Leclerc is getting on. So he's now on a new lap. Lando Norris is on a lap 22.6 for Charles Leclerc in the first sector. As Lando Norris is stating, yeah, a bit of aquaplaning down to turn 4. Otherwise, not too bad. So just finding the grip. As Charles Leclerc, purple in the first sector, he's got his teammate close behind him. George Russell, 22.9 for him in the first sector, so that's an improvement. As Ocon goes fastest again at 29.9. Could we see an Esteban Ocon on pole position here this afternoon? Oh my God. Imagine we see Esteban Ocon on pole position. That would be crazy. He seems to be the driver who has found the grip from the get-go here and is comfortably quicker than the rest of the field. But the rain, is the rain about to come down anymore? Not at the moment. Not at the moment. It seems to be... It's definitely wet out there, of course, but the drivers are displacing a lot of water with these wet compound tyres. It is still definitely wet tyres, not intermediates just yet. As Sergio Perez has found some grip. He's 3 tenths quicker than his teammate Max Verstappen in the first sector there. 22.4. Carlos Sainz. Oh no, Charles Leclerc went off in the second sector. A 55-second second sector for Charles Leclerc, and that's ruined his lap, and he is at risk. We have 10 minutes remaining here. The drivers are going to stay out there and just keep going and going, no doubt. So as Lewis Hamilton is on an out lap, about to start his lap, he's under risk. He has Max Verstappen coming fast through in the last corner, but he won't have to deal with him as he's slightly ahead. As Lance Stroll now gets a lap in and splits the 2 Red Bulls. Oscar Piastri only 11th fastest, so not good for Oscar Piastri at the moment. Hulkenberg up into P10. Lewis Hamilton is currently dead last. He's actually just done a lap, but is 19th fastest. But I think that was an out lap for Lewis Hamilton. So let's see how Lewis gets on in the wet weather. We expect him to do well. A driver that does normally very well in the wet conditions. But Sergio Perez, he's on a flyer at the moment. He's going very well as his lap time's being deleted left, right and centre here with drivers going off. And, well, Sergio Perez goes second fastest, still over a tenth slower than Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon's brilliant at the moment. How about Yuki? He's going green. And Yuki is 7 tenths faster than Esteban Ocon. The track is ramping up, ladies and gentlemen. The track is getting quicker. Yuki and Ocon have found the grip, but Tsunoda has found it at best. That last sector, he found a line that tremendously improved his lap time there with an first driver to go sub 19 second in the last sector. Let's keep an eye on Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is green in the first sector at 23.3. And there's a yellow. Colapinto's off at the Curva de Sol corner. Turn 3. Is he in the barrier? This is a corner, and it is. Colapinto, no, he's in the barrier. He's lost control of the car through turn 3. And that is a corner where if you do go off there, while there is a lot of runoff in these wet weather conditions, you are going to struggle to slow the car. And Colapinto has brought out the red flag with qualifying conditions. The red flag does mean that the timer is paused. But at the moment, with the potential of more rain coming down on this circuit, it could be that the lap times are not able to improve, as Yuki Tsunoda is 6 tenths faster than Charles Leclerc, who did improve there, and we are at risk of losing Lewis Hamilton and George Russell in the first Q1 session. And interestingly, Valtteri Bottas has gone on to the intermediate tyre, ladies and gentlemen, so he thinks that it's now maybe time for intermediates. Just waiting to see what the crash is like for Colapinto down into turn 3. Did he touch the curb? Did he just aquaplane? Waiting to see as we're on board with Charles Leclerc. And we're yet to see where Colapinto's car is. And yes, Colapinto is just... Okay, it's not that big of a crash, ladies and gentlemen. Colapinto is okay. It's basically one of those where he's just touched the barrier straight on. So he is okay. I think there might just be some front wing damage. The front suspension looks okay. I think it's one of those... I mean, I'm yet to see the actual replay of did he go into a spin. The car is not too damaged. It seems to be okay. I think it's most likely a case of aquaplaning where he's got down on throttle and he has spun the car. So, not ideal for him. Not ideal for him. But, well, it could be that we lose both Mercedes drivers at the moment. It seems Alex Albon, Zhou Guanyu, George Russell, Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton are at risk here. Ollie Bearman, of course, is as well. But with 8 minutes 50 remaining, the track could get wetter. We could see more rain come down before we're able to get underway again. Now, I don't think it's going to take them too long to remove that car. The barriers do seem to be intact as well. So here's a replay of Colapinto. What exactly happened with him? So he's heading down into turn 1, that wide line, the wet line, the not on the racing line. He gets on, he has a bit of a tank swapper out of turn 2, and yeah, just as he gets down on throttle, the car goes round on him, and he goes in sideways into the barrier as he gets down on throttle through turn 3. So just waiting to watch the replay again. And where does he go? He just basically gets a bit too happy on the throttle, and the car goes around sideways into the barrier. And actually, the car's done very well to not have any damage there. So a real shame. The Williams engineers, the pit crew, look devastated for him, which is a real shame for Colapinto. But ironically, he could actually still get through in this session, as he is currently in P9. But wow. Williams engineers not happy. No, they aren't. They aren't. With more rain coming, the Mercs are in a difficult situation. They are indeed, Tim. They are indeed. Leclerc risked a lot there, so lucky he completed the lap in time. Sometimes luck is with him. Yes. So we're going to see. We're going to see whether or not more rain is on the way. It won't take him too long to remove that car, and because there's not really any debris, the car is basically intact. But interesting that Valtteri Bottas was willing to risk the intermediate tyre that early. But Yuki Tsunoda found the grip from somewhere and is 6 tenths faster than Charles Leclerc. That is tremendous from Yuki Tsunoda. That is the nature of this circuit. You just have to try different lines. And especially with this new racing surface as well. Maybe the traditional wet line isn't working. So, yeah, drivers struggling out there. You can see Max Verstappen, Alonso, who's normally very good in the rain, 1.4 seconds back. Max Verstappen from Yuki Tsunoda, 8 tenths back is Sergio Perez. Alonso 1 second back. Of course, Lewis Hamilton down in P20, yet to set a decent lap time at the moment. It is still raining. It hasn't really stopped raining by the looks of it, apparently. So, yeah, we'll see. So they'll want to get this... the drivers who are yet to be out there, in the bottom 5, particularly the Mercedes, will want to get out there as soon as possible to ensure that they can get some more laps. And there we go, 7:47. So that is when... So 4 minutes time, guys, 4 minutes time, just under 4 minutes time until this qualifying session gets back underway. They are happy that the track is clear, and we will get underway in this Q1 session with 8.5 minutes remaining. Yuki, good job thus far. Bottas has always been crazy with his weather and tyre calls. Well, I suppose he's got to risk it, isn't he, in that Stake F1 car? But yeah, Jared Bowen ripped you apart. No. What Man United last week? It was okay, it was okay. But the rain in Brazil falls mainly on the racetrack, yeah, just. So what's happened? Recap, we have qualifying. And, well, at the moment, Colapinto has unfortunately brought out the red flag. He spun at turn 3, just got a little bit too heavy on the throttle, and the rear went round in him. He is okay, the car is okay. It was a very low-speed crash sideways into the barrier at turn 3. His car has been removed, and, well, Colapinto will not be able to run the remainder of this session. So he might be able to make it through to Q2 with rain falling down. But we'll see. It is still raining. There is a wet line or a dry-ish line, but it's forming. Is it worth intermediates? We'll see if anyone decides to change tyres and go on to intermediates. So, yeah, let's see. Of course, when these cars get out on circuit, when there's 20 F1 cars out on circuit with these wet compound tyres, they really do displace a lot of water. So, yes, they're all queuing at the end of the pit lane. They're ready to get rock and rolling. This is not over and done with by any means. This track is going to get quicker and quicker. So, not long, guys. But thank you for everyone for tuning in. If you could hit that like button, let's get this stream to 1,000 likes, shall we? Let's get this stream to 1,000 likes and let's get close to 33,000 subs. Sorry, we hit 32,000 yesterday. So, what's my advice for iRacing Formula rookies? Just keep it clean. It's all about safety rating, keeping it clean, and just not where you finish and just getting out so that you can get into a D-class license. So yeah, rookies isn't where you really go racing. That's just you to keep it clean, and then you go racing once you've got your D license and so forth. So. 85 litres a minute. Yeah, it's something crazy like that. So some girl in the crowd with a flag saying, Lewis, marry me. We're getting underway. We're getting back underway again in just less than 1 minute time. Drivers are waiting at the end of the pit lane. Green light is about to go for this remaining Q1 session. We have 8.5 minutes remaining. And is anyone out there on intermediates? That is the question. As Norris is saying, yeah, there's a lot more rain. This heavier rain is expected to last for 2 more minutes, and then it will reduce back to Class 1 or 2, as McLaren Knights states. So I think we're still going to see drivers out there on a wet compound tyre. Let's see if anyone is going to be out there on the intermediates. Yes, Lando Norris is still on the wets, from what I can see, as he's waiting at the end of the pit lane. Hang on. Do I play F1 or just F1? I don't play F1 games. I watch I race F1 in iRacing, but I don't race the F1 games. It's just not really for me. So, oh my God, Yuki close to Lewis. Here we go, green light. Pit exit is open. We go again. And, well, with 8.5 minutes remaining, guys, who is going to go out of this Q1 session? Of course, at risk is Russell and Hamilton, the two Mercedes drivers. Lewis Hamilton, of course, will not be looking to go out in Q1. Of course, a driver we expect to excel in these conditions. So let's see. Ollie is on the intermediate tyres. Is Hulkenberg on the intermediates? We will see as they come out of the pit lane. Let's see. Maybe they're risking it. Valtteri Bottas is still on intermediates, I believe. And Hulkenberg's tyres haven't been updated yet. Neither has Oscar Piastri's as they come out of the pit lane. So we'll see if anyone is going to go onto the intermediates. And yes, Nico Hulkenberg is on the intermediates. But are they going back? I think they might be going back to change tyres for Ollie Behrman. I think Ollie Behrman has pulled out of the queue and he's now going onto the wet compound. I don't think they're happy with Ollie Behrman's tyres and they're going to change him onto some wets. You can see Yuki Tsunoda up there as well coming out the pit lane. So we'll see. This proves that Aston Martin only ever tested their car in the wet. Bear on the intermediates, but think he's changing back. He is indeed. Can Aston get better next year? I actually don't think we're going to see that much of an improvement from Aston next year. I think they're going all in for 2026. Of course, with Adrian Newey coming in, they're not bringing Adrian Newey in for 2025. They're bringing him in for 2026. So, but yes, oh wow, what's that bit of lag for? But here we go. Right, so all drivers out on the full wets at the moment. As you can see there, no one on the intermediates. Valtteri Bottas went back off the intermediates and is now on the wets as the rain is heavier. and this track is wet. So we'll see if any drivers are going to be able to improve. I think drivers will be able to improve. Will they be able to get up to the pace of Yuki Tsunoda up there? Maybe not. Yuki probably got his lap time in at the perfect opportunity, but drivers still at risk. If you're 2-3 seconds behind Yuki, the leader, there is definite improvement still there. So let's keep an eye on Lando Norris. He's now on his flying lap. Let's see how he gets on. So Lando down into turn 4, sector 1 at 23.3. So that's some way off, but of course these wet tyres don't have tyre blankets available, so they're going to take a few laps really for them to get up to temperature, and then we're going to see some improved lap times, no doubt, even with the weather conditions as they are. So let's keep an eye on Lando. 22. Wow, Esteban Ocon is finding the grip, but no one else can through that first sector from the get-go. What magic, what wizardry is Esteban Ocon cooking up in that car? Because that is quite something. Oh my God, George Russell and Yuki Tsunoda nearly crashed in the pit lane. George was trying to get round him and Yuki kind of basically blocked him off. Interesting. But Oscar Piastri at 23.05 for him in the first sector. So he's found a bit of grip. He needs to improve down there in P13. Lewis Hamilton starting his lap time as well at the bottom there in P19. Let's keep an eye on his first sector time. Has he found the grip as well as he heads down into turn 4? Gasly sets a 31.1, so that is an improvement, but not by much. But it is only the first lap and these tyres are cold, as Ocon goes green again in the second sector. So Ocon is finding grip there. Yuki, another sub 23 seconds as well from him. Hamilton, a 23.23 in the first sector, so not overly quick, as Norris comes across the line with a 31.282. So not overly quick for Norris. Was a slight improvement for him, but not enough to drag him further up the standings. Who else is out there on the lap? Albon's also out on that lap as well, 22.8. So Lewis Hamilton, the McLaren, struggling to find the grip through the first sector compared to everyone else, it seems. Lewis Hamilton through the middle sector. He's going through turn 10 now as Valtteri Bottas sets a 32.2. Piastri finally gets a decent lap time into P5. That's much better from the McLaren driver. That should, well, I say that should be good enough for him. You never know with these changing conditions here at Interlagos as it stands. As Lewis Hamilton goes through turn 12 and he sets a 48.7 in the second sector. That is not quick from Lewis Hamilton. That is 17th fastest thus far. So Lewis Hamilton needs something more to get out of this Q1 session. Really struggling in that Mercedes car at the moment as he only goes up to 14th. Not a good first lap for Lewis Hamilton. We can see, but Nico Hulkenberg is improving, but that's a 23.6. That's not good in the first sector, as we have seen. Let's see how Alex Albon does as he goes across the finish line, and it's a 7th place thus far for Alex Albon. But Verstappen has found some grip in the middle sector. He had a slow first sector, but he's got a purple middle sector, but he's going slow through the last sector, it seems, Verstappen. So did he have a wobble into the last corner there of turn 12? I think Max Verstappen may have just backed out of that lap there because he had a wobble through turn 12. We will see, or maybe he's just trying to warm those tyres up and go again. We will see. Drivers going to do lap after lap, as finally George Russell does a sub 23 lap first sector, a 22.6 from him, currently down in 20th place. Esteban Ocon is not improving at the moment. He's on an outlap as it stands. Zhou Guanyu needs to improve. Sainz also needs to improve as well. He's coming through turn 12 as Valtteri Bottas improves again and goes up into 16th. Liam Lawson needs a decent time, as does Ollie Behrman, but Ollie Behrman's first sector is not good. He's not going to improve on this lap, no doubt. But let's keep an eye out on George Russell. Will he be able to set a purple second sector or at least a green? I mean, it can't be difficult for him to do that, as Sainz does improve, but it's not quick enough. Only a 30.9. He stays P10. Charles Leclerc about to start a lap as well. Let's keep an eye on Lewis. Lewis now going for another run. Let's see how he gets on. He's running out of time. Probably only has this lap, maybe another one, but of course it's all about the battery usage as well, as George Russell sets a 47.8 in the second sector. So this is a much better time from George Russell. He's going to launch himself up the standings here as he is in the tow of Lance Stroll. So this is not ideal for George Russell. He might be getting a sneaky little tow. And he goes second fastest, and there's a yellow flag in the last corner. This is not ideal for the likes of Max Verstappen, who was on a lap as well. It's not ideal for Liam Lawson, who was on a lap as well, improving. Maybe Liam Lawson has got to that sector before the yellow flag was waved. Max Verstappen, I think, had to slow, and Max Verstappen got away with it, and he's up into P5. Maybe he only had to lift slightly, and Liam Lawson, I think that did affect him, and it's a 31.7 for Liam Lawson. No, sorry, he lost most of his time in the middle sector. Apologies, so the last sector didn't affect Liam Lawson there, that yellow flag. Esteban Ocon improves again and goes P2. At the moment, it looks like it's a pole position shootout between Tsunoda and Ocon, and yes, I was correct. Verstappen's lap time there was deleted because of what happened in turn 12 with that yellow flag. So Max Verstappen may be at risk, not sure. Looks like no one's really improving. And finally, Lewis Hamilton has got a sub 23 second first sector. So this is the lap Lewis Hamilton needs. What is his second sector time? And Lewis has gone off at the second sector, and Lewis Hamilton is at risk here. He has one more chance. A 51.0 in the middle sector is not good enough for Lewis Hamilton. He's going to cross the line for one more opportunity. This will be it for Lewis Hamilton. It's now or never. Let's keep an eye out on him as he heads through to sector 1, turn 1. Let's see how he gets on. He needs this lap. Pressure is on for Lewis Hamilton. Could we see him go out in Q1 in wet weather conditions that we expect him to be brilliant at? Liam Lawson, lap time deleted as well. Hulkenberg's at risk. Lando Norris is at risk, the guys. A 23.5, a 48.64 for Lando. And I'll tell you what, Lando Norris is at risk here. He is on an out lap. I think he's bowed out of that that second sector. And Lando Norris is at risk of going out here, guys. Currently in P14. What a turn of events this would be for the championship and this race weekend. Lando Norris has one more opportunity. Lewis Hamilton, a sub 20, and Max is still there. Max is still there. He hasn't bowed out. Colapinto is not going to improve, of course, because he's already crashed out of this session and brought out the red flag. Hulkenberg only just improved. He is on a lap as well. A 24.1 for him in the first sector. That's not good enough. Bottas improves and goes into P13 and pushes Lando on the edge of going out in this Q1 session. Lewis Hamilton is improving, and Lando's first sector time is not quick. Lando is at risk here. It's all about Ollie Behrman. It's all about Lewis Hamilton. Can they improve and push Lando Norris out of this Q1 session as Ocon has gone quicker again? A 22.2 from Ocon in the first sector. That Alpine is on fire, and Hamilton improves and pushes Lando Norris out of Q1 as it currently stands. Is Lando on the lap? I don't think he is. I think Lando is out. I think Lando cannot improve here. A 23.8 in the first sector. And this is unbelievable here for the championship. Lando Norris is struggling. Have they made a mess up of the setup here? Everyone was talking, but as Albon goes fastest, we have Albon, Tsunoda and Ocon at the front here. Behrman pushes Norris down even further, and Lando, can he improve? He needs to find just a couple of hundredths here, even with a slow first sector. It's all about this last sector now for Lando Norris, and oh my God, Lando Norris is still at risk. Liam Lawson's improving. Is anyone else out there improving? Zhou Guanyu is the last driver. Could Zhou Guanyu push Lando Norris out of Q1? Oh my God. Here we go. Across the finish line for Zhou Guanyu. Oh, he doesn't do it. And Lando Norris has snuck in by the skin of his teeth. We have lost Lewis Hamilton in Q1. Unthinkable. We have Max Verstappen finds the grip in at the very end there. And look at that. Lando Norris has just got through Q1. Lewis Hamilton complaining about the car on the radio. Not happy. Max finding the grip there at the end. But Lando Norris struggling in these conditions to find the grip. And wow. I thought we was about to lose both of them, guys. I thought Zhou Guanyu, of all people, was going to push Lando Norris out of Q1. Lando is struggling to find the grip through Sector 1 particularly at the moment. What a turn of events. So we have lost Lewis Hamilton, Ollie Behrman, Colapinto with his spin into the barriers at turn 3 in P18, Hulkenberg in P19, and Zhou Guanyu in P20. And once again, Valtteri Bottas has got through. Not bad from the two Alpines as well. I mean, Esteban Ocon was finding the grip from the get-go. Unbelievable. Ocon in P4 at the moment. Gasly in P6. Tsunoda in P5. Those those two in particular, Ocon and Tsunoda, were finding the grip from the get-go. But Lewis Hamilton, a driver we expect to excel in these conditions, just does not have the confidence in that car. Wow. Wow. What? Lando Norris, what has happened? Yeah, what has happened to him? That was crazy. Only just got through. He, of course, will be looking for improvements. Just listen to team radio. Not too much, not too much. But let's have a look at the sector times here, and this will show you how slow Lando Norris is, ladies and gentlemen, at the moment. First sector, he is 16th fastest. That is where he is losing so much time. I mean, of course, it's throughout the remainder of the lap as well. He's 12th fastest in the second sector. He's 7th fastest in the last sector. But that first sector, he is 8 tenths off of Esteban Ocon's time in the first sector. He is 6 tenths off of Max Verstappen's time in the first sector. That is where he is losing a considerable amount of time, Lando Norris, and just cannot find the grip. Norris, of course, in the second sector isn't decent as well. Max found the grip finally on that last run. And, well, that's the thing. It's driving in the rain is all about confidence, finding that wet line, finding where the grip is. And, yes, Lando at the moment seems to not be able to find it. No doubts they'll be analysing the data and the video footage to show where Lando can find that time. Or maybe is it McLaren have just not gone with the right setup? Who knows? Who knows? Ocon and Gasly better than Lewis. I mean, we'll drive over later. Racing in the wet is rubbish these days, and Max appears to have a wet setup on. They will all have wet setups on, to be fair, Alex. I think with the weather forecast for this weekend or for today, there's no way that they've got dry weather setups on. No chance. No chance. Oh my god, what a dramatic Q1, guys. What a dramatic Q1. Thank you for the subs flying in. Much appreciated. If you are yet to hit that like button, please do. Let's get this stream to over 1,000 likes. Over 3,500 of you here at the moment. So big thank you for those of you tuning in. Of course, earlier than expected. I mean, it's an extra session, but we didn't expect to have today. So, yes, it seems to be, well, qualify Q2 will get underway at 3 minutes past the hour, so 3 more minutes until qualifying gets underway, guys. How are the wet tyres? Are they still terrible to drive on? I think so, Minion. Yeah, they're still not very happy about them. So, and they don't have tyre blankets on the wet tyres, which is crazy, really. Of course it's the setup, never about the driver. Yeah, I mean, Max is a great driver. That's the thing. Max is a great driver. But Lando's a great driver in the wet as well, so it's odd to see him not have the confidence at the moment in these conditions. Very odd. So let me get that back up. I need to stop fiddling about with that. Sorry. Is it still raining? I think it is still raining, yeah. When does Lewis drive Senna's car? I don't think he's going to get an opportunity to. I don't think so. Rain forecast all day. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But Ocon, yeah, good in the rain. Has gone good in the rain before, so they need more heat in the tyres, to be honest. They do. That's what Lewis complained about yesterday and made a cheeky dig to Stefano Domenicali. But, wow, Lando Norris really needs to find the confidence in the... I mean, will we get to the stage of an intermediate tyre? That could really flip things on its head, and that could mean that these cars perform better in different circumstances. But it looks like on different tyres, but it does look like it's still raining. It does look like it's still wet tyres. As Max says, lovely, when he's told he is P1 at the end there. So found the confidence, Max, at the end and found the grip. And that's what Lando Norris most extremely needs to do. Listen to Lewis radio. Crowded track, both McLaren drivers were stuck behind, others mostly. Maybe. I just think Lando just struggled in general, though. I saw one of them clickbait links stating Lewis shock team change during Brazilian GP, only to find out it was Senna's car. You got baited, Bob. Yeah, you got baited. FIA would love a Brit to be champion, but it ain't much if it ain't Dutch. But yeah, Lewis Hamilton not struggling so much under braking in that Mercedes. Not looking like the Lewis Hamilton we know in these conditions. Chris did better than Liam. Yeah, so here we go. Green light. Pit exit is open. Q2 is underway, guys. Q2 is underway. Who is going to come out on top here? No doubt it is still wet tyres. Still too wet for the intermediates. The rain is still coming down, but we do have running, and that is the most important thing. Could Ocon get pole? Don't rule anything out in these conditions, is what I would say, yeah. What else? I couldn't find this on TV. Oh, well, this is where you need to come here then. This is where you need to come here. Do I think Norris can win the World Drivers' Championship? Well, he can if he gets up on the front row here, really, or up in the top 3. He needs to be in the chance for a race win tomorrow. He cannot afford to go out in Q2. He needs to make it Q3 minimum. And, of course, ideally get ahead of Max, but Max seems to have found a level of confidence there on the last run, which will be important for him. Lando, of course, still chasing that confidence, chasing that lap time, so we'll see if he gets any better. Of course, Ocon is a driver that seems to have he's on a brand new set of wets now, Esteban Ocon. So they have 3 brand new sets available, I think, or maybe 2. I think it's 3 that we checked yesterday. And well, they need to be careful, of course. It probably seems 1 set of wet tyres maybe for quali and for each quali session. But then, of course, you're thinking about maybe the race tomorrow. Do you save a set of wet compound tyres, new set of wet compound tyres for the race tomorrow? There's also that to take into consideration as well. So Verstappen on a brand new set of wets, as is Albon, as is Ocon, as is Gasly. Yuki Tsunoda is on a U set, as it is currently looks, it seems, as is George Russell, as is Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez. And Piastri, is that right? He's on the intermediates? Piastri on the intermediates? Is that correct? Is he on the intermediates? Waiting to see when he comes out of the actual pit lane onto the race circuit. And I think he is indeed on the intermediates, waiting to see if they come out of the pit lane, if he is indeed on the... Did I say race tomorrow? Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up. And yes, Piastri is on the intermediate tyre, guys. Okay, so Piastri is playing benchmark for the remainder of for everyone out there. And, well, straight off the bat, Charles Leclerc, 22.3 from him. He's found some grip. He's found some confidence here. That is a great first sector from Charles Leclerc. Only second to Esteban Ocon. And, well, you can see Carlos Sainz at 22.7 for him, so not ideal. But Lando Norris is on his outlap, as is Oscar Piastri at the moment. We'll see. Tsunoda, 22.5 for him in the first sector, picking up where he left off in the Q1 session. So let's keep an eye on Charles Leclerc. He's about to finish his second sector as he heads through turn 10 and turn 11. Need to be careful through this turn 11, careful on the throttle. Normally flat out in dry conditions, not so in this time around. A 47.9 for Charles Leclerc in the middle sector is not a good lap time in the second sector, as Sainz finds the grip in the second and third with purples. Of course, the first driver to set a full lap this time around. Let's keep an eye on Norris and Oscar Piastri, of course, as Charles Leclerc goes fastest with a 29.3, but he lost a lot of time, almost half a second in the middle sector compared to his teammate after a great first sector. As Perez goes fastest in the first sector, Lando Norris finally a 22.6 from him in the first sector. How about Oscar Piastri on those intermediate tyres? How quick are they at the moment? And it's a 22.7 from Oscar, so not quite maybe intermediate tyres at the moment. Purple sectors being swapped around here all over the place, as Yuki had an off there in the middle sector, which is why he's P6, as Stroll is currently in P1, as Yuki has his lap time deleted for track limits violations, as Bottas goes to the top of the timing sheets ahead of 2 Ferraris and a Mercedes. What is happening here? Fernando Alonso, 28.7. The track is getting quicker. They are finding the grip. How about Sergio Perez? He's about to go to the top of the timing sheets here, as Albon goes to P8 and has an off as well somewhere. How about Sergio Perez? He goes to the top with a 28.1. They're improving every single lap right now. Every single driver who is out there late, it could be whoever's out there latest, sets the fastest lap. How about Lando Norris? Is this going to be an improvement from him on his Q1 time? No doubt it will be, but he's only up into P8 and only goes in slower than Carlos Sainz. Struggling at the moment, Lando Norris, in these wet weather conditions. Verstappen goes fastest in the middle sector. He has found some confidence. He has found some grip after putting in that great lap time at the end, as Oscar Piastri goes P3. But Max Verstappen on a brand new set of wets is going to go to the top, you would suspect, with a fastest middle sector that's considerably faster. That's half a second faster than his teammate, and he does indeed go up to the top of the timing sheets with a 27.7. This is what Max Verstappen and Red Bull would have been hoping for today, is a wet weather race. They would have been hoping for these conditions, because rain is the great nullifier. Lando Norris, though, goes in with a 22.7 in the first sector. Again, Oscar Piastri, are those intermediates now with that 1 lap of grip, running now, Oscar Piastri has gone the fastest out of anyone in the first sector at 22.0. This could be the lap right here that means that drivers change onto the intermediates. We're seeing drivers come out of the pit box now. George Russell, Liam Lawson, Lance Stroll, Valtteri Bottas. Let's see what tyres they go on to. No doubt it is intermediate running now, I think, as the rain, I believe, has stopped. I think the rain might have stopped. Let's see if Lando Norris decides to come into the pits. I think he might do, as Oscar Piastri. Let's see what that second sector time is on those intermediates. Only a 46.3. Slightly, just a tenth slower than Max Verstappen was on a brand new set of wets. But with that fastest first sector, this is going to be a great time for Oscar Piastri as he comes across the start-finish line. Everyone onto the intermediates now. So, yep, Lando will be going on to those, as will everyone else, as Oscar Piastri goes fastest by 0.6 of a second. And there is your answer, guys. The intermediate is now the tyre of choice, and 18.7 for Piastri in the last sector there, but that first sector in particular was tremendously quick from the McLaren driver. Do I think Daniel Ricciardo will be back? Most likely not. Most likely not. Max showing his class once again. Yeah, Max still reading pay or wait till he finished the comment set. Well done, Oscar, for taking that risk. Yeah, he was the first driver out there on intermediates, and he's gone quicker again in the first sector. So the more these tyres run, and oh no, George Russell's off. George Russell is off at turn 10. Is this a spin for George Russell? This is, of course, where we saw Nico Hülkenberg go off yesterday and pull over to the side, but George Russell has got going again. So it's not going to get in the way of Oscar Piastri's lap time. So Lando Norris is now on a set of intermediates, and well, of course, these intermediate tyres just get quicker and quicker the hotter they get. So Lando Norris out on his outlap. No one out there other than Yuki Tsunoda is on a lap at the moment, then Oscar Piastri. So Oscar Piastri heading through the second sector now. What is his lap time going to be? It's purple in the second sector. A 3/10 advantage over the previous second sector lap time of Max Verstappen on the brand new set of wets. So it is most definitely intermediates. But Oscar Piastri, what lap time? What is he going to improve here? He's a 27.1. This is definitely going to be sub 27, and it's a 25.1. Whoa! Finding that grip, he just made a 2-second improvement. Oscar Piastri on that lap alone. Wow. That is a mega lap there. And, well, he is ahead of the game. But Lance Stroll on the set of intermediates has gone purple in the first sector. So while that lap time looks good now for Oscar Piastri, will it look good by the end of this Q2 session with everyone now on the set of intermediates? Yuki Tsunoda, a 22.1 for him in the middle sector. First sector, a 46.5 in the second, so the second sector isn't too great from Yuki. He's had a bit of a wobble through there as Max Verstappen allowed the driver to go through, and he's going to be starting his lap now. Max Verstappen, we'll see how he gets on, as who is on an actual lap right now. Sainz is on his out lap. He's about to start his. Let's keep an eye on Liam Lawson as well, as Yuki only goes P14 with that slow second sector and the slow last sector in particular. He really slowed down to start his lap again. As Sainz is off. Sainz is off at the second corner there. And, well, is this going to bring out the red flag? Is this going to bring out the red flag? And guess who is at risk once again? Lando Norris in P11. He's going to have to hope that there's no yellow red flag here. Where is Carlos Sainz's car? It seems to be Lawson and Verstappen have gone through the first sector there. Okay, they would have had to lift, no doubt, and it will affect their lap time. But where is Carlos Sainz? Is he just off circuit? Can he get going again? And it's a red flag, and Lando Norris is once again at risk on the intermediate tyre. He's in P11, and wow, McLaren are really risking it here. Lando Norris on a set of intermediates. Why was he not on a set of intermediates from the get-go? You do have to ask the question, as Lance Stroll went into P3 there. But Carlos Sainz is out at the moment. And, well, what is going to happen here? Of course, the lap time, the session is paused, but we don't know about the weather conditions. That is the question, isn't it? We don't know about the weather conditions. Could it come down harder? If the rain comes down harder, then you do suspect that there's not a lot. Well, there is room for improvement, to be fair, because the lap times set by Perez, Bottas, Alonso, Leclerc, Sainz, etc. were set on the wet compound tyre. But waiting to see where Carlos Sainz's car actually was and whether he could get him moving again. Did he go into the barrier? That is the question. I'm waiting to see where his car actually is positioned for them to bring out the red flag. as he is in the barrier. Oh no, Carlos Sainz has spun into the barrier. The rear wing of the Ferrari is hanging off, and well, that is a definite crash there from Carlos Sainz, and he is out of this session with bringing out that red flag. So yes, a fair old whack there for the Ferrari driver, coming off of a high, of course. Coming off of the high, of course, of Mexico last weekend, but this is not a good weekend for him. He is currently P10, but with the potential of those drivers behind him to improve, he could be starting as low as 15th. Lando's still got time to improve. Yeah, I believe so. It just depends. I think he's got time to get through, that's for sure, because those on the intermediate tyres ahead of him haven't been able to get their lap times in either. So watching the replay of Carlos Sainz down into turn 1, where did he lose control of this car? And where did he go? As he gets on throttle, an error from Carlos Sainz there. It's the slowest of crashes, but it's done a lot of damage. As he got on throttle on the exit of turn 1, the car was in a straight line, and the rear spun on him, and he went round. So maybe not enough temperature. Maybe not enough temperature in those intermediate tyres, or maybe just the wrong line. Maybe he wasn't wide enough in that exit of turn 1. So there we go. Right rear suspension dead, yes, and the rear of that car is hanging off, guys. So not good for Carlos Sainz fans. But yes, 5 minutes 51 seconds remaining of this session. It's going to take a little bit longer to remove that car compared to what it was with Colapinto. Once again, not a lot of damage done to the barriers, so normally that is what delays the restart of qualifying, because they need to make sure that those barriers are safe, but it was only tyres that he went into, and they seem to be all good. 32,000 subs yesterday, Scoobs. Yes, it was indeed. So big thank you to everyone for tuning in. If you could hit that like button. We have 4,000 of you here in the stream right now. Just short of it. If you could hit that like button, let's get this stream to over 1,000 likes if we can. That'd be much appreciated. Go on. We're at 430. Let's get it up. Go on, hit the thumbs up button. If you're liking this, literally, if you're liking the stream and you're liking the content, hit the thumbs up button and continue to hit that subscribe button as well. That's going to be hard to fix since the races today as well. That is going to be hard for them to fix. Yeah, I forget about that. It's only a few hours' time. Now, figure if Ferrari will have enough time to get Sainz's car ready for the race. Yeah, that's true. So watching a lap time from Lando Norris here. And Lando is, getting Lando's line through turn 1 is like the racing line. It's like Lando's lap time on in turn 1 is the racing line, and I'm not sure if that is the line. I think I'm seeing drivers take a bit of a wider entry into turn 1, so I think Lando's just got his wet lines all wrong. I'm surprised the team should be relaying that information from Piastri's side to Lando to tell him which line he is taking to help him, but we'll see. Somebody needs to practice on iRacing, yeah. Why is Lando doing it like that? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what Oscar is doing. I haven't seen the lap from Oscar. But it does seem to be that, obviously, as you head down the downslope of turn 1 to turn 2, you really do need to get your line correct to stop the oversteer, which is what we saw Carlos Sainz just have, where the rear just snapped round on him, and where Lando Norris just had a snap of oversteer there, which they said cost him about 1.3 seconds with having to wrestle that car back under control. Sainz is in black. He is greyed out right there because he has just crashed his car. He has brought out the red flag, which is why the session is currently paused. He went round into a spin just after turn 1, in between turn 1 and turn 2, and went into the barriers backwards, which has broken the front rear right suspension and the rear wing of that car. So session will resume at 20 minutes past, so literally 2.5 minutes, guys. 2.5 minutes until this session is resumed, guys. The racing line is ready to dry line, depending on how soft the corner is. Yeah, exactly, GI. Yeah, unless he's been relayed that information, but that's what Piastri's doing, I don't know. But Norris is waiting at the end. Hang on. Not sure. Verstappen is losing World Championship this year. Oh, well, I mean, Lando needs to get through Q2 first. It's not great for Carlos Sainz, no. And he could, I mean, they need to be working on that car instantly, don't they? Because, well, we don't know when the race is going to get underway with the weather conditions. It could be postponed. Who knows? Norris is making a few silly mistakes around me. Yeah, he can't find the grip. He can't find the grip. But maybe he will this session. Maybe he will. And I still think that there's going to be a change. I still don't think the bottom 5 that we see now is going to be the bottom 5 come the end of this session, because the track is getting quicker. We've seen some quick lap times there on the intermediates. So as these tyres get warmer and hotter, they're going to get more confidence and we're going to find more grip. So track is clear. The session is about to get underway with green flag. Less just over a minute's time, guys. Stay tuned for this Q2 session. Oh, what a qualifying it's been. What a qualifying it's been. Stroll's fastest sector 1, I know. Stroll is also being sneaky quick in the rain as well. Remember that pole position he had in Turkey? Aston Martin was developed in rainforest. Why is the difference between Max and Perez so big? Because Perez set his lap time on a set of wets, used wets. Verstappen was on a set of brand new wets, and they haven't set anything on the intermediates yet. But that's the nature of the wet weather conditions. The slightest little wobble can cost you so much time because you have to get out of throttle. Thank you, Lo. Thank you, buddy. It's the experience in it with a community that I find. I don't even watch the TV coverage anymore, really. I watch the data and I watch the track maps with you guys. So I'm in experience and enjoying F1 at the same time as you with this. And yeah, I think I'd struggle. I think I'd struggle if I was just watching the F1 on the TV coverage now, because I wouldn't have all this data in front of me. So. Can I just say, why do many Max fans still defend these obvious dirty and dangerous driving? I mean, look, people are always going to defend their driver. That's just kind of how it is. That's the same way up and down the grid. But I've seen lots of Max fans say that they didn't condone what he did in Mexico. And I've seen lots of fans say he did nothing wrong. So, look, as long as there's enough fans to kind of condone it and admit when their driver does wrong, that's right. I did the same if Lewis Hamilton did something wrong as well. So, right, green light, pit exit open. Here we go. It's an important session for Lando Norris in this championship battle. He has not found the confidence and the grip in this session thus far, or in Q1, and unlike his teammate who is up there in P1 at the moment. But this track is going to get quicker with the intermediate tyre on at the moment and being the tyre of choice. The intermediate is going to get quicker. There's going to be more rain, more water that is dispersed out on circuit, the more laps that these cars do. So Lando getting out there first is important for him because he can maximise the amount of laps that he can possibly do. So let's see, guys. Let's see if Lando can pull it out of the bag, find some confidence, as we know he can do in wet weather conditions, but he's struggling to do so here today. Hard racing is good and entertaining. Dive bomb, yeah, I think that's what most people agree with, Camo. I think that's what most people agree with. What's with the pathing of the cars near the crash? They're fine. They've removed Carlos Sainz's car, even though his icon is in the middle of this race circuit. That's only where he lost control of the cars and crashed. So no, Carlos Sainz's car has been safely removed. There are no cars on circuit, and we are about to get underway again, as Norris will be the first driver to cross the start-finish line and set a lap. Importantly, that he needs to do so as well. You only watch TV coverage during the Dutch GP, but I still put this watch along on my phone while watching because I miss the data. Thank you, Dodo. Thank you. And, of course, for my commentary. But here we go. Lando Norris. Let's keep an eye on his sector times here. He is currently 4.4 seconds off of his teammate in P1. But, of course, it's just about getting through to Q3 for Lando Norris. That's the most important thing for him as he heads through the first sector. Has he had a wobble again? Can he switch on his intermediate tyres from the get-go? He'll head down to turn 4 and we'll get that indication of that first sector time very shortly. A 22.4. He's done okay, but it's not as good as what we saw from Lance Stroll. So Lando Norris still struggling in that first sector. Let's see if anyone else is able to improve. As Yuki Tsunoda. So Lando Norris needs to do something dramatically different in that first sector, in my opinion. He's got his lines all wrong and he's losing a lot of time. He should not be that much slower, half a second slower in the first sector, with respect to Yuki Tsunoda in a McLaren and an RB. So fundamental line fundamental issues there with Lando Norris's line in the first sector that is costing him. But let's see how he gets on for the remainder of this circuit. He can recover that time elsewhere. And at the moment, you can see, other than Alex Albon, that first sector time of Lando Norris is comfortably slower than everyone else. Even slower than Valtteri Bottas, as that middle sector there is much better, a 45.3. That is the third fastest second sector we have seen thus far. So that's a lot of recovery there for Lando Norris in the second sector. It's all about his exit through turn 12. How is Lando as he crosses the start-finish line? And that is much better from Lando. So he needs to improve in that first sector. He needs to do something fundamentally different through the first sector to improve. But you can see there, he's only 0.05 a second faster than Yuki Tsunoda, so we do expect the other drivers on the intermediates to improve also as well. Alonso's gone fastest in the second sector. I thought that second sector time by Lando was decent. Alonso's just wiped it out of the water, and actually it seems quite slow, as Valtteri Bottas has done a 45.1 in the second sector as well. So Lando still needs to find a considerable amount of time. A 22.0 from him in the first sector is much better, but a 25.0 there for Fernando Alonso just shows how much quicker you can go on this set of intermediate tyres. Alex Albon fastest in the first sector at 21.6. So Lando is improving, but not by enough, you may suspect, as Valtteri did suffer there in the last sector and is only up into P6. George Russell on a lap now as well. Lance Stroll, how is Max Verstappen? He's about to start his lap as Ocon goes P3 and continues what is a good run of form in this qualifying at the moment. Alex Albon is fastest man out on circuit as it currently stands. Liam Lawson improving as well, 21.7 from him, as Sergio Perez is starting his lap. As there's a yellow flag as Lance Stroll has gone off. Has Lance Stroll gone off here? Is this going to be another red flag in this session with only 1 minute 20? This would be it for lots of drivers as Norris improves and finally finds that grip that we were expecting of him. But if this is a red flag right here, this would mean Verstappen, Perez is out of this session. They are hoping there is no red flag. Where is Lance Stroll? Are they going to ensure that these drivers get a lap time in? Maybe they are, but this is very dangerous if they do not call the red flag. You would suspect if there is a crash similar to Colapinto and Carlos Sainz. I have no idea whether Stroll can get moving again, and he can. Lance Stroll can get moving again, thankfully for Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, but it's a slow first sector from Max Verstappen, a 23.5 from him. I'm not sure if he had to go through the yellow sector there when Lance Stroll crashed. Potentially that's why that first sector is slow. And we've lost Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez from Q2. It looked like we might lose Norris, and wow, how the tables have turned. We have lost Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez from Q2 because Lance Stroll has crashed into the barrier, and Max Verstappen, with his 5-place grid penalty, will start in 17th place this afternoon. Q2 will not be resumed, and that is confirmation right there. Terrible circumstances for Max Verstappen. He looked like the fastest man in Q1. He looked like he was comfortably going to get through to Q3. But once again, on the wrong end of the stick when it comes to a red flag. And Max Verstappen will start from 17th place tomorrow. He'll start behind Lewis Hamilton. Unbelievable circumstances here, guys. Unbelievable. What have I just seen? Lance Stroll, how did he lose control of the car? Probably similarly to how Colapinto did through turn 3, just getting on throttle a little bit. But Lance Stroll, of all people, has brought out the red flag, and he has technically made it through to Q3. Liam Lawson and Alex Albon have once again made it through to Q3. And Gasly, unfortunately, has not made it through to Q3. Esteban Ocon has. George Russell has as well. And yes, funnily enough, Lance Stroll crashed at the same place as Colapinto. Literally the same place. He's broken his front wing. He's got half of it missing. His rear wing is hanging off. I'm actually surprised Lance Stroll got that car moving again. I really am surprised that he got that moving again and he didn't retire where he did. So yes, wow, Lando Norris putting in the time when he needed it. And importantly for McLaren, they have one Ferrari of Charles Leclerc to contend with. They have neither Red Bull to contend with in this race. And it is going to make it very, very difficult for Max Verstappen in this race this afternoon. So just watching the crash by Lance Stroll. And he had the same as Colapinto. Lost control of the rear. Bit too heavy on the throttle, and well, he lost control and went round, but went into the barrier a lot more severely than that of Colapinto. But yes, guys, Wow, we have lost Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz we know crashed, Sergio Perez, who was looking in fine form as well, Max Verstappen, who is looking in fine form as well, but just wrong place, wrong time, because they was at the back. Lando Norris, importantly, got out there first, set a very good second lap, and well, that put into P1, Max Verstappen into P12. He's got that 5-place grid penalty to take this afternoon in the race, and well, he will start from 17th place. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. To be honest with you guys, I'm actually surprised that red flag didn't come out sooner. So I did think they tried to ensure and see if Lance Stroll could get that going again. But if you see the condition of Lance Stroll's car, he literally has the front left side of his rear wing, front wing missing, and the rear wing is hanging off. So it's in no fit condition to even try and get that car back to the pit lane. So yes, terrible circumstances there for Max Verstappen, but for Lando Norris, brilliant circumstances from just making it through to Q2 by finishing P15. He is now the top of the standings in this Q2 session, and well, there's no guarantee he'll put it on pole position either because, well, we can see there Fernando Alonso in P2. Liam Lawson wasn't too bad. Charles Leclerc, do not rule him out either, or George Russell. George Russell did go fastest in the first sector and considerably. He was 4 tenths quicker than Lando Norris in that first sector. So I tell you what, there's no guarantee Lando Norris will be in pole position here. Josh Verstappen is filmed once again slamming his fist on the table as the red flag was thrown out. The Red Bull garage, of course, understandably looks distraught at that decision because they knew that is terrible timing for them. Wow, Verstappen starts 17th. Quali was worth waiting for. Drama, absolute drama. Yes, the job's not finished yet for Lando Norris or for McLaren. He could still start, Lando, arguably P10. We've seen drivers here lose control of their car. Lando could do the same. Piastri could do the same. It is still tricky conditions out there, guys. One small mistake can be the end of your day, and well, it could mean the end of your day depending on how severe the crash could be. You might not even get the opportunity to race later on today. Oof. Interesting. Who would have thought Lewis Hamilton, starting in P16 after not making it through to Q1, will start one position ahead of Max Verstappen? That is that is an interesting race ahead of us, guys. Interesting race ahead of us. He can't start 10th to Stroll was out. Oh, that's true. He can't start 10th. 9th place, James. 9th place. But yeah, this race is going to be an absolute shit show, Mike. It's going to be interesting, to say the least, isn't it? Going to be interesting. But guys, if you're enjoying this qualifying stream, please hit that like button. Let's get this to 1,000 likes. We still have one more qualifying session to conduct. Who knows what's going to happen? We've had crashes in both qualifying sessions. Will we see more? I don't think the wet weather's going to get any worse from what I've seen from the shots of the weather radar. So we do have a gap here. It still will be intermediate running. But once again, by the way, Liam Lawson is into Q3. Into Q3, Liam Lawson. What a great job he is doing. Alex Albon, once again, as well, into Q3. So he, when the pressure has been on, has dug deep and got his car up there when it matters in qualifying. Great performance thus far from Esteban Ocon. Yuki Tsunoda as well, just sneaking through. But Valtteri Bottas, can we give some credit to Valtteri? Let's give some credit in the chat for Valtteri. He is vying to drag himself off the bottom of the standings. Currently 23rd place in the standings, and he is P11 at the moment. Go on, Valtteri. Go on, Valtteri. Showing us how it's done. Hopefully, he's able to sneak a point later on this afternoon and drag himself off the bottom of the standings because he doesn't deserve to be there, that's for sure. So, oh, that is, of course, also that the mechanics only have very little time to get those cars ready for the race again. Exactly, Max. Exactly. That's the danger, of course, of crashing. The likes of Colapinto, he'll be fine. He'll be able to get going again. They'll check that car over, but didn't seem to be any visual damage on the car. But Sainz, quite considerable damage. Right rear suspension was broken. Rear wing was broken. Lance Stroll, front wing is easy to replace. Rear wing is easy to replace as well. But yeah, Sainz is really the one with that broken right rear. Another avalanche of biased British stewards comments. The stewards don't make the decision, guys, for anything to do with safety cars and red flags. The stewards are not involved in. They do not make those. They do not make decisions regarding safety. They only are there to rule upon as per the regulations in regards to incidents out on circuit. They are not there. That is race control and the race director's decision whether or not we go racing, whether or not racing stops, whether a safety car gets pulled out or not. So yeah, it is not the stewards who do that, just for clarification. If the conditions stay the same, there should be a couple of safety cars, which means Max still has a chance. Oh, in wet weather conditions, there's still a possibility of anything happening. Yeah, exactly. But Max, this was the great nullifier. Rain is the great nullifier. You could see Max found confidence in the car, and this was his opportunity, really, to arguably put it on pole when we didn't expect he'd be anywhere near pole in dry conditions. And, well, how the tables have just turned, and he is in P12, but we'll start P17. And Sergio Perez, of course, also timing poor for him in P13 as well. Alonso pole if he can get fastest first sector. Yeah, I mean, Lando still needs to improve in that first sector because I do think that a 24.8 is not going to be the fastest lap. I think we'll see maybe a 24.0, maybe even 23s. I really think he'd be on pole with this weather if he didn't get strolled. Yeah, maybe. Start of Q3 has been delayed for the time being, so we do not have a restart time just as of yet. In that regard, I'm just going to quickly grab some water so that I can keep my throat lubricated for no doubt what is going to be a very intriguing Q3, guys. I suggest you do the same. I'll be back literally in 30 seconds. I'm back. I don't know if that was 30 seconds or not, but... Right, track is clear. Track is clear, guys. Track is clear. Whew. Honestly, Verstappen should crash into Lando after he pits. No. We don't want to see anything of that. Like, Bottas is a legend. Welcome back. Yes, thank you, guys. Thank you. Hey, so if you've been enjoying this stream, guys, hit that like button. Let's get this stream to 1,000 likes, shall we? Over 660 likes thus far. Come on, surely there's 300 of you who are yet to hit that like button. And if you are yet to subscribe, what are you waiting for? What is holding you back from hitting that subscribe button? It really helps just grow this great community we've got here. Of course, we'll be live again this afternoon for the race, which is still predicted to be at the same time that they rescheduled it for yesterday. So that will be a 3:30 start UK time. So we'll see if that will be the case in... we'll see if that will be the case later on this afternoon with maybe changing weather conditions. But at the moment, it isn't raining. It is still just wet conditions out there. So maybe there is a break in the weather today that will get the race underway. Lando's been having a super lucky session. Yes, well, this is the kind of luck that you need in a World Championship battle, isn't it? This is the type of luck that you need. So, yeah. Well, and Lando needs to just convert this now, doesn't he? Just needs to convert this into a front row start minimum, and yeah, get up there. So we'll see. Fairy Tale Norris is not material for champion. That's your assessment. Everyone's entitled to their view, but look, you still need to get the job done. You still need to get the business done. So. Right, so Q3 will start at 8:37, guys. 8:37. So that'll be literally, you're talking seconds right now until Q3 gets underway. Drivers are waiting at the end of the pit lane. And, well, we just saw how important it is to get your lap times in early. So drivers will most likely not be pitting again for brand new sets of intermediates. They'll be out there on the same set. So let's see how they get on. So pit exit is open, green light, Q3 is underway. Here we go, guys, here we go. Who's going to be on pole position here? Will it be Lando Norris? Will it be Oscar Piastri again? Will it be a front row lockout for McLaren? Or will we see someone like Charles Leclerc or unexpected like Esteban Ocon, Fernando Alonso, George Russell, Lance Stroll? Of course it won't be because he crashed his car. So he will be out. Will be starting from P10 if he can get that car fixed this afternoon. Hang on. As Piastri says, I think if it keeps raining like this, we should just stay out. So they're not going to come in for new tyres. So it is actually raining, but they're not going to come in and pit for new tyres, it seems. So, yes. Charles Leclerc, by the way, Ferrari and George Russell leaving it quite late in the day. That we saw how that backfired on the two Red Bulls. So I would have suspected that you wanted to be out there as early as possible, which is what the McLarens have tried to do. Of course, the Alpine of Ocon and Alex Albon have beat them to it. But let's see what these drivers can do. What lap times can they set? Hang on. So the first few laps could be important. They reckon there could be more rain on the way, guys. There could be more rain on the way. So it could be literally just a dash to get as many laps in as possible. So let's see what happens. Max is not happy about the red flag, about the delay that it caused in regards to the about the car or the red flag being called. Sorry, he's not happy about it. He seems very miffed. But to be honest, mate, if it was called sooner or not, you still would have been on your lap. So unfortunately, it's your team you really need to look at in regards to putting you out so late. That is definitely Red Bull's mistake there, sending both drivers out so late in the day. And we saw Lando Norris get multiple laps in there, and it turned out to be very crucial. And Sergio Perez basically aired those concerns as well on the radio after the session. But let's see how Oscar Piastri and McLaren get on here. So 21.8 for Oscar Piastri. A sub 22 is good. Quickest out of anyone thus far, with Albon and Ocon in the 22s. How about Lando Norris? Has he found that grip? Has he found some confidence in the first sector? And he has, finally. A sub 22 second for Lando Norris. The first time all day in this session. How about Liam Lawson? He's close behind the Ferrari of Norris, and it's the 22.6 from Lawson. So he's had a bit of a wobble through that first sector. How about Esteban Ocon now heading through to turn 12? He's about to cross the second sector time line, and it's a 45.2 for Ocon. Not overly quick, so he's not finding the grip, but he has done as throughout thus far. And Alonso's had a mistake in the first sector. A 23.0 for Alonso, so this is not a good lap time from him. Tsunoda is on pace though, a 21.891. That's actually just quicker than Lando Norris and slightly slower than Piastri. And 26.2 from Ocon is not an overly great lap time. But how about Oscar Piastri? He was slightly slower in the second sector, and Lando Norris has made 4 temps up in that middle sector over his teammate. That's a good start in this session, but George Russell is definitely a driver to be aware of. A 26.0 from Oscar Piastri. What lap time is Lando going to get here? It's all about his exit through turn 12. That is what matters. Full throttle across to the start-finish line, and a 25.6 for Lando. 4.5 temps quicker than his teammate. Very important banker lap there for Lando Norris, as Albon did have to pull out of his lap. But how about George Russell, as Leclerc has gone slow in the first sector as well, as Piastri has dramatically improved in the first sector at 21.4. At the moment, it does seem like it's going to be a battle between the two McLaren teammates for pole position again. But Charles Leclerc has set fastest first middle sector, a 45.1 there from him in this session. Oscar Tsunoda goes P2 and splits the McLarens, but Piastri is improving. Lando Norris's first sector time at 21.4. He's only slightly slower than his teammate. It is definitely a shootout between the two McLaren teammates for pole position as Charles Leclerc goes up into P2. He recovered the lap time there after a poor first sector. How about George Russell? He's coming across the start-finish line now as well. He's at a slow middle sector in relation to everyone else, and he goes P2, only 0.05 of a second behind Lando Norris, but we can see the McLarens are improving. Oscar Piastri, a sub 44 second middle sector for him, as Ocon goes fastest with a 25.0. Ocon has found the grip from somewhere, and that is a fastest middle sector from him, as Lando is very close behind Esteban Ocon and is about half a second up, it seems, due to that first sector. That middle sector was supreme from Ocon there, as Piastri now does a 24.6. The track is getting quicker and quicker as Albon goes ahead of Oscar Piastri. What the hell just happened there as Lando Norris goes 4 temps 5 tenths faster than Alex Albon and his teammate. And there's a yellow flag. Alonso's out. Alonso, has he lost control of the car? Is he in the barrier? And there's another red flag. Oh my God. How have we had both Astons out of this session? Oh my God, medical car deployed. I think Alonso's hit the barrier quite hard. There's still a considerable amount of time in this session to go. But if the rain comes down harder, as it is predicted, then Albon will start on the front row. Albon would start on the front row. Oh my God, Albono. Imagine Ocon would start P4. George Russell would... Ocon is getting quicker and quicker, bearing in mind as well. Look at that. Ocon a 21.3 in the first sector. It looks like Albon and Ocon are like the drivers that Piastri needs to be worried about. I think Norris has found the confidence and the grip in that McLaren finally today. It's taken him long enough. But wow. What a lap there from Ocon to get ahead of Piastri, and Albon to get ahead of Piastri. It looks like Ocon could get ahead of Piastri there as well. He was improving on that lap, so it's a shame for him. But we still have plenty of time remaining in this session. Now, it now depends on the weather conditions for the remainder of this session. That is what matters. As Fernando Alonso, yes, is directly straight head-on into the barrier. So not sideways, not rearwards. He is straight on into the barrier at turn 11 there. So he's had a big wobble. I wonder if he went round on himself. But yeah, Alonso definitely out of this session. Right call for a red flag. But yes, is the rain going to come down heavier now? That is no doubt what Norris will be praying for. He'll be praying for harder weather conditions right now so that no one can improve and he is on pole position. We will see. To be fair, Lando has never been great in full wet conditions. It's these inter conditions where he puts himself... I disagree, Aaron. I think he's always been good in wet conditions. He's just obviously taken him a while to find out where the grip is. But once he finds it, he's pretty good. He's a bit underrated when it comes to the rain. This is more red flag than your dating history. This is not what Aston Martin needs now. No, they're in their garage. Both of the garages are going to be very busy to the end of this race. I mean, McLaren will be... I think McLaren would take Piastri P3. I think they'd be comfortable knowing Albon is in P2 there, Ocon P4, Russell's in P5, Leclerc's P6. Because ultimately, the more running you have to do in these conditions, the more chance there is for your drivers to crash. So they will be hoping probably for conditions that get worse right now. Time for Papa Stroll to take out the checkbook. I could picture the amount of memes on the amount of red flags, yeah. According to you, who is better, Alonso or Hamilton? Why? I think Hamilton is proven over the years that he is better than Alonso. I think Alonso is brilliant. I really do. But I think, look, rookie Hamilton got the best of Alonso when Alonso was at the peak of his powers in McLaren that year. He got under his skin, and then since then, I think he has been better. Right, so Fernando Alonso, here we go as he heads round through turn 11, and the rear just spun on him. Oh, actually, he did. Oh, he's broken the front right suspension. That's a lot of work for Fernando Alonso's team. Oh wow, so. He probably got on full throttle a bit too early. The car snapped on him. Yeesh. Yeah, that's a fair old whack. That is a fair old whack. I actually think Stroll's car will be easier to fix because it's just a case of a rear wing replacement and a front wing replacement. Whereas Fernando Alonso is I actually think he's broken the right rear suspension, the front right suspension, and the rear wing of the car. That is a lot of work for Aston Martin, and if they can get that car in tip-top shape for this afternoon, I mean, fair play. Give those mechanics a rise. Looks like he touched the white line. Did he? I mean, I think he was just away from it, just a little bit away from it. So doesn't matter where Piastri ends, he's not allowed to win anyway. Inters are like a knife's edge when they go. Just joined, Bradley, because I'm going to tell you what has happened with the Red Bulls and Sainz. Yes, if you're just joining us, guys, welcome. Hope you have been enjoying the stream. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. Well, where shall we start? Let's have an update on what has happened in this qualifying session. So, it started off very wet today, guys. Everyone was on the wet tyres. Hamilton, unfortunately, just could not get any control of his car, and he went out. Lando Norris really struggled on the wet compound tyre. struggled to find grip, and he got through by the skin of his teeth in P15. Colapinto crashed and brought out a temporary red flag, which is why he is starting in P18. Hulkenberg and Behrman were just struggling the hardest in these wet weather conditions. Zhou Guanyu, not really anything to say about him. So yes, Lando got through by the skin of his teeth. Heading to Q2, it turns out that the intermediate tyre becomes the fastest tyre as Piastri starts on that tyre out of everyone, because everyone starts on the wet. It becomes evident very quickly that Piastri is the quickest driver out there. Everyone switches to inters, and what that does is that it then means that Lando Norris, who after that race start for the red flag of Carlos Sainz, because he crashes when he gets out on the intermediates, he gets out there, sets some very quick lap times, and then Lance Stroll crashes in the end of Q2. Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, who are late out there in the day, were halfway around their lap when the red flag was called, which means they were unable to set any laps. There was 40 seconds left on the timer, which means there was no time for any driver to then come back out and do an outlap. So yes, we have lost Gasly, Sainz, Perez, Verstappen, and Valtteri Bottas, which is a great performance from him in P11. And right now, we have a red flag for Fernando Alonso, who has just put it in the barriers at turn 11. So both Aston Martins into Q3, but both Aston Martins have crashed in qualifying. So they might not even start the race tomorrow. So this afternoon, sorry, because it's still Sunday. So yeah, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, if the weather conditions become more severe, as they kind of predicted to be, this will be great for Lando, of course, and for McLaren. But if not, there's still an opportunity that Leclerc could get on pole position, that Piastri could get on pole position, that Ocon could, as he was going quicker. The track was getting quicker and quicker, but of course, without any cars on circuit right now, and with it still raining, that grip advantage has kind of disappeared for now, and it's going to take a few more laps until they see that return. Does Max have a grip penalty? Yes, he does. So Max will start from 17th place this afternoon, guys. So, yeah, with a 5-place grip penalty, Max is going to start in 17th place in no doubt what is most likely going to be wet weather conditions. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for him. It could be really good for him because there's safety cars and he doesn't make any mistakes. But it could also be he's always going to be starting in the carbon fibre zone anyway. With a 5-place grid penalty. But yeah, that is definite carbon fibre zone when you're starting down in 17th, and it's going to be wet weather conditions this afternoon. Q3 will resume, guys, at 54 past, so 6 minutes 2. So we have, at the moment, we have about 4 minutes, just over 4 minutes until this gets back underway, guys. Did Max keep third or Ferrari get it from the sprint race? No, Max lost it. He went down to P4 because he got a 5-second time penalty for his VSC infringement. Are they giving an ETA for the race start? Yes, Dylan. So this afternoon, the race is still as is scheduled or rescheduled, which is 3:30, I believe. Yes, 3:30 UK time. So you're talking at this moment in time, 3.5 hours from now. Now, we'll be live, of course, as always, 45 minutes beforehand to talk through our kind of pre-race show. I don't know how kind of relevant it's going to be because it's going to be wet weather, but we'll be live then nonetheless, as we always are. So it could be that's what they're aiming for. If the weather changes and it ends up being that there is a change in conditions, then they will postpone the race start like they did with the qualifying yesterday. But regardless, we'll be live then, and I already have the stream set up for that. I think Max will still get in the top 5. You think he's going to get in the top 5? I don't think he will. I don't think he'll get in top 5. But look, stranger things have happened in F1. I don't think Lewis is doing the laps in the Senna car. No, there's too little time between sessions, and there's the weather conditions are probably too severe for it as well. And the last thing you want to do is bin Senna's car, don't you? At Interlagos of all places. I know it is Lewis Hamilton of all people, but it's not a car that he drives all the time, is it? Matt said a good point in his interview. A car has clearly broken the barriers and FIA doesn't. Yeah, I know, but he's misplacing his anger there, Scott. He is misplacing his anger because he was on his lap anyway. And there wouldn't have been enough. If he actually goes back and looks at it, there wasn't enough time. When Lance Stroll crashed and that yellow flag was thrown, there wasn't enough time for them to get out there and do another outlap in these conditions. So I get why he's angry. It's totally reasonable. But he wouldn't have had enough time, even with that red flag thrown instantly, for them to get another outlap in. So, and get round in time to set another lap. Shame about Hamilton not driving Senna's car. Yeah, I know. There's always next year. I wouldn't trust Lewis this weekend with a full tail rest, let alone Senna 90 McLaren. To be fair, I think Lewis would probably say Senna's McLaren handles a lot better than the Mercedes right now. Norris will crash, Max will win. I'll tell you what, anything's possible in these conditions, guys. Anything is possible in these conditions. Lando Norris getting in pole is job done. Job number 1 done, but the job is later. The biggest job is later on, of course. So, if it's wet, Max will likely podium. I don't know. I doubt that, to be fair. I do doubt he'll get on the podium. Other drivers wouldn't have out-qualified him if the red had been thrown earlier. Really? Is that what he's complaining about? I'll have to go back and look then. I'll have to go back and look. If that's the case. If that is the case, then yeah, he has a fair point. What is my beef with Ferrari? I have no beef with Ferrari. What makes you think I've got beef with Ferrari? Is it raining harder now? No, it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be consistent as it was earlier. So they will get some running. So they will still get some running, guys. So this quali is not over and done with. The drivers are getting back out there. Lando Norris is second at the end of the pit lane. George Russell is out there first. But of course, it's going to take a few more laps for these intermediates to come into a decent temperature range, and of course for the grit to for the track to get up to decent grip levels again. They wait for Max to get into drop zone until they put out the red flag so that Norris could finish his best lap, is what they're saying. Okay, ready. I mean, I have to go back and look at it. If that is the case, then I mean, yeah, he's got a fair point. He has got a fair point. It's similar to yesterday where Lance Stroll was still moving. I think they probably didn't know. It makes me think that the race control doesn't have access to, or they don't have TV images on every single car, which baffles me, really. They should be able to. I know obviously there's a lot that they're managing at the same time, but it means that they're quite evidently waiting to see TV images of how damaged Lance Stroll's car is, or a call in from the marshals maybe. Because we saw that with Nico Hülkenberg yesterday where they delayed the VSC, and that's supposedly because Nico Hülkenberg sat in his car for quite some time, for a couple of laps I think it was, to try and get his car moving again, and he couldn't do so, and then they threw the VSC. So yeah, maybe something the race control needs to look at, and that's why they're delaying the throwing of red flags and safety cars and so forth. But anywho, Q3 is underway, guys. Q3 underway. Here we go. Still drama to be had in this Q3 session, no doubt. It's been a very drama-filled qualifying session today. We have had 4 red flags. 4 red flags, and Q3 is not even underway, not even finished yet. We have lost Colapinto, we lost Lance Stroll, Carlos Sainz, and now Fernando Alonso in this Q3 session. Will we lose another? Who knows? Who knows? You probably think that if we have another red flag, that could be the end of this session, with maybe weather conditions worsening. But Lando Norris is currently your provisional pole. Albon is 5 tenths back. Oscar Piastri around 5 tenths back as well. Esteban Ocon was improving. He was purple in the first sector before the red flag was thrown. So definitely room for improvement out there, guys. Everyone on a brand new set of intermediates, except for, of course, Alonso and Stroll, who are in the pits, and, well, their mechanics are working frantically to try and repair those cars for the race this afternoon. So let's keep an eye out on George Russell. He is a driver to keep an eye out on. He was going quick earlier on as well. So let's see how he gets on this out lap, on this first flying lap for him. And, of course, Lando Norris, can he improve on his 24.1 that he currently has for provisional pole? So, George Russell through the S's. We've seen 3 drivers lose it here already through turn 2 and turn 3. Sainz, Stroll and Colapinto. And Russell navigates his way safely through there as he's about to cross the first sector line. And it's a 21.992. So it's good, but it's not good enough. And it's not quick enough. It's a good half a second back from what Lando Norris currently has for pole position. Let's see what Lando Norris does. Does he improve? No, a 21.6. But not too bad for a first flying lap. How about Alex Albon? Currently lining up on the front row in P2, a 21.664. He's actually a couple of hundredths or 100 quicker than that of Lando Norris. Alex Albon loving these conditions, as is another driver in the form of Esteban Ocon. Let's see how Esteban Ocon does, who is in the tow of Oscar Piastri, as Piastri, I think, has made a mistake through the first sector already and has had to bail out of this lap as he lets Ocon past, and Ocon does a 22.1. So no, Ocon may be affected there by Oscar Piastri's wobble through the first sector. Charles Leclerc does improve on his fastest lap he's done thus far, but it's not quicker than that of the time set by Lando Norris in pole at the moment. George Russell, a 48.0 from him. George has had an off, and Yuki's off. We've got a yellow flag into turn 4. There is a lot of runoff there at turn 4. Where is Yuki gone? Is he gone on straight on into the barrier? Can he get moving again? I think he can. He is slightly, his icon's slightly moving. He's got going again, and Yuki Tsunoda brings out the yellow flag, and no doubt has slowed his teammate down there in P8. It's all tactics for Yuki Tsunoda, as Lando Norris does the 25-1 last time around there. A good second off, as is Alex Albon. He's also a 10th off of his best lap time. But George Russell there, as there is an off there for Alex Albon through turn 1 again. He went off there earlier on. Is this a crash for Alex Albon? Is this another red flag? Oh my God. Our 5th red flag of the day. Alex Albon, has he got the car moving again? We have 3.5 minutes remaining, and Alex Albon has brought out the red flag, and Alex Albon has crashed. Alex Albon has crashed. He's in P2. But will he remain in P2 by the end of this session? I was about to say that George Russell went off in the middle sector. So did Charles Leclerc as well with a 48.9. So both of those drivers, Russell and Leclerc, having their lap times really well. I actually don't think anyone's going to improve, guys. That's basically it. I don't think we're going to see anyone improve. I'm waiting to see where Alex Albon actually lost control. He did go off there earlier on after his fastest lap, actually, which is currently on P2. He locked up and went through there, but managed to gain control of the car. But where has Alex Albon put the car? How has he lost control of that car? As Charles Leclerc got a... He's literally... Charles Leclerc's right hand down, left hand down to control the rear of his car. He's really struggling out there in these conditions, the Ferrari. And I'm waiting to see where Alex Albon, footage of Albon, where is he? And oh my God, no, Albon, what have you done? Oh no. Alex Albon, who's potentially starting on the front row this afternoon, has, I kid you not, has, oh my God, he's torn the rear of that car to pieces. Both oh my God, that car is in pieces. What have you done, Albon? What have you done? That is probably the biggest example of what a red flag should be pulled for right there. He has... The rear is off. The rear is hanging off the car. Oh, no, my God. He might... I'll tell you what, if anyone out of these cars who have crashed today might not start this afternoon, it is Alex Albon, and he is currently starting on the front row. That is unbelievable. He has his heads in his hands. No doubt he's probably crying on the radio. You cannot get... If they get that car fixed in 3 hours, I kid you not, the mechanics deserve a massive, but they deserve Albon's wages for the remainder of the season. Like, that is unbelievable there, footage. I mean, I'll see if I can try and get an image of you guys for Alex Albon's car right there. It is shocking, absolutely shocking what he's done there. Unbelievable what Alex Albon's just done. I cannot believe he's done that. What has he done? Bottled it again, yeah. So here we go, watching the replay now as he comes down into turn 1. Of course, he's going for another lap. Oh no, he starts to lose it before he even goes into the... I mean, he starts to lose it as soon as he touches the brakes. Not even on the white line. Front left suspension broken as well. As Max is stating, did the brakes foul? Yeah, the rear locked up as he was braking. He then got on the white line and the car just went round on him. And that is a lot. I mean, I don't think he's racing this afternoon. I really don't think he's racing this afternoon. There's more broken on that car. Yeah. There's more broken parts on that car right now than there are working parts. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. I'm going to show you this quickly. This is Alex Albon's car, ladies and gentlemen. And go back and pause it. I don't want anything for copyright, but that is his car. Ooh, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Not a chance he's starting. I would doubt it, Connor. I'd very doubt it. They will be hoping. They will be hoping for a. They'll be hoping for a delay in this race today, but I'm not sure if we're going to get it. And the thing is, it's not just that. It's the fact that he would have done damage to the floor as well. I mean, there's so much he's done damage to that car there. The side pods are damaged. I mean, He's not racing this afternoon just after sticking it on pole in P2 on the front row. That is unbelievable. He's okay. Yeah, he's okay. I mean, I'm not sure about his mental well-being though, because yeah, that is rough. That is rough. Guys, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. We have, of course, still 3.5 minutes remaining of this Q3 session. So let's see what happens there as I'm watching a replay of George Russell as he went off down into turn 4. So that's where he had a wobble, and that's why his lap time was pretty much deleted. Oscar Piastri, he had a wobble through turn 1 as well. Where did this happen? Oh my god. Oh, Oscar Piastri actually spun through turn 4. Oh my god, it could have ended up so badly for Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri spun through turn 2 and, well, he did a nice controlled 360, but we've seen, of course, multiple drivers go off there. Yuki Tsunoda went off as well, unfortunately, and went very, very wild off into a 360 spin, and thankfully for Tsunoda, he went off at a corner, turn 4, where there was a considerable amount of runoff. Drivers losing control of the car out there. This race is going to be hectic this afternoon, guys. Hectic. So be sure you're well rested and stocked up on snacks this afternoon, because I think it may be a long one, and I think we're going to get a few safety cars, because wow, maybe some red flags as well with just how these conditions are, with these drivers struggling in these conditions. Wow. How many cars will start from the pit lane this afternoon, Camille? I have absolutely no idea. Who do I think will win in equal machinery? For me, it's Fernando Alonso. Lance Stroll, and obviously it's Alonso. Wow. Don't blame the drivers. Not much wet racing this year. These wet tyres are terrible, and the kicker is, yeah, no. I think there's been a couple of heavy foots. I think a couple of the drivers who have lost control through particularly like turn 2 got their foot down on the throttle a bit too early. Fernando Alonso. Oh my God. There's a Williams mechanic in the garage. They've just zoomed in on him. And he's like this. He's like that, and they just ruin, of course, what would have been a great front row start for them. They're going to restart this session. I think they will, because there's still 3.5 minutes remaining. There's still improvement there for some of these drivers. So we'll see. We'll see. This is why Interlagos should permanently be on the F1 calendar. I agree, Potato. I agree. What a quality after the lack of safety cars this year. Cheers for your commentary. Thank you, Jay. Q3 will resume at 8 minutes past 9 local time. You are talking just under 4 minutes time, just over 3 minutes time. Q3 will get going again. I don't think we're going to see a time to beat Lando Norris's, because we just saw there what happens when the drivers are on cold intermediate tyres with the track that still has a lot of water on its surface. If we had maybe 6, as we did before, 6 minutes remaining, 6.5 minutes remaining, there might have been an improvement, because they could get multiple laps into these tyres, clearing the water on the race circuit, But I think really it's only Russell and Leclerc that could probably look to improve over maybe Esteban Ocon. But what we've just seen there, I think there's more odds on someone losing control of the car again and crashing. What do you guys think? What do you guys? Place bets on who crashes next? I think so, Mike. Yeah. Can Albon get Franco's car? No, they won't do that. I mean, maybe they would. Maybe they would. I mean, it's not going to be very good in relationship building for Colapinto, is it? But, yeah, I mean, track is warming with the rain stopped. 24.1 degrees at the moment, so they'll get it fixed. Albon will be on the grid. I mean, I'd be surprised if they do. That's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. What's the point difference between... what is the points difference between them? Max and Lando? Something like 45 points now, I think, or 44 points. Mark, thank you for joining the pit crew, buddy. Much appreciated. Normally there's a nice sound alert that goes off when that happens, so apologies that you didn't hear that. But big thank you for joining the pit crew. If you'd like to help support this channel further, guys, you can join as a member, just as Mark has done, and for less than the price of a coffee. And yeah, it just helps bring me closer to making this a full-time career for you all and bring you some brilliant content. We'll have more 360 spin-outs and crashes. They're pushing for fastest lap, yeah. Do I think the race will be as entertaining? I think it will be, yeah. Because you got to remember that this is when they've got clear visibility. Let alone when they haven't got visibility later on this afternoon. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But that's this is when... This is not even racing conditions when you've got other cars around you. This is when they can clearly see the road ahead or the track ahead. So, Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Will Russell crash in quali or the race? We'll see. But yeah, no, guys, thank you for all the kind words and that you've been enjoying these watch-alongs and the commentary as well. I mean, the fact of it... Hang on. So Norris has been told we think there will be some Class 1 rain starting imminently and will remain to the end of the session. So I assume Class 1 means probably heavy rain or harder rain than what we currently have right now, which will be beneficial for Lando Norris, of course, being in P1 right now. I don't see anyone because they're only going to get one lap. They're going to get one out lap. They're going to get an out lap, and then they're going to get one flying lap, I think. They might, whoever's out first, which I think is Ocon and Norris, they might get two. They might get two, but I don't think so. Renab, thank you for the... Let's turn that on. Can we get that on just in time? No, just missed it. But Renab, thank you for joining the pit crew, buddy. Much appreciated. Thank you. What would be my tier list of the crashes so far? Alex Albon's got the best crash thus far. Yeah, of thus far. So Colapinto was very slow. Very fortunate to get away without any damage. Lance Stroll's was also very slow, but ended up being quite severe with the damage that has been caused. And Fernando Alonso was probably next best. Carlos Sainz was very slow as well. But here we go. Green light, pit exit open. We have just under 3.5 minutes remaining of this qualifying session. Can anyone improve? I don't think we're going to see anyone put it on pole, beat Lando Norris's time on that provisional pole. I think Oscar Piastri as well might be a little bit at risk with half a second back on Lando Norris, but with just one out lap and no doubt what will be maybe 2 laps at most for those who have got out first in the form of Norris, Piastri and Leclerc, they might not improve. I think Russell might be calling it quits as he is in P5 at the moment. Oh, where is that? Where is that notification? It is that one, I think, or that one. We'll see. But yeah, big thank you for the subs coming in, guys. Much appreciated. I can't keep up with all of them, but big thank you, as always, for supporting this channel and returning to these watch-alongs. But Esteban Ocon, of course, looking to improve. Could Esteban Ocon get on the front row? He's definitely got it within him. He's a driver who has been on the pace, been one of the quickest drivers since this qualifying started. So let's see if he can put in a couple of good times. It is 2 minutes, and I think... he may get an opportunity. He's going to get an opportunity at 2 laps. With it being a 1:25 lap time, pretty much, he's going to get an opportunity at 2 runs, and he's the only driver who will do so. So big thanks to all the subs coming in and obviously the memberships as well. Big thank you, guys. So Esteban Ocon, let's keep an eye on him, shall we? George Russell is not coming out. He is accepting where he is. He is not risking it. He is P5. So Mercedes have made the conscious decision to keep Russell in the pits. They don't think there's any room for improvement. But Esteban Ocon thinks otherwise. Let's see what his first sector time is. And Esteban Ocon, as he heads down into turn 4, will cross that first sector time as George Russell is indeed coming out of the pit lane. So they're only going for 1 run. Bizarre by Mercedes. Bizarre, really, I think, personally, as Esteban Ocon sets a 21.883. It's not as quick as Alex Albon's time, but it is okay for him, as Norris actually has just improved in Sector 1. Yes, you heard that correctly. Lando Norris has just improved on his provisional pole lap in Sector 1. Lando has really found some confidence here, as Oscar Piastri has had another wobble through Sector 1 again, as Oscar is not going to improve. A 22.4 from him. It's not going to be good enough for him. How about Charles Leclerc? Charles Leclerc has also had a wobble through Sector 1, and I don't even think Lando has to finish this lap to be confirmed on pole position. There's no need for him to risk it. Will McLaren relay that information as Ocon has gone fastest in the second sector? Could we maybe see a shock here from Esteban Ocon? That's 3 tenths faster from Esteban Ocon in the middle sector. I'll tell you what, actually, maybe Lando might have to keep improving here, because Esteban Ocon could put in an absolute shock to what has already been a shocking qualifying session. And no! He doesn't do enough in the last sector when it matters. Esteban Ocon, 24.7 from him. He stays in P4. Lando Norris will be on pole position. Other than maybe he improves there, Lando Norris, with a 24.092. So he actually improved on his lap. And really, the only driver out there now who can stop Lando Norris from getting pole position is Liam Lawson, and maybe Yuki Tsunoda. Let's see if the 2 RB cars can drag themselves above Charles Leclerc. This has been a terrible qualifying from him. He is going to get another opportunity, though, as he crosses the line with 5 seconds remaining. George Russell is also out there on the lap, and Oscar Piastri has already bowed out as well. He is not going to be attempting another run with Alex Albon, maybe starting on the front row if they can get that car fixed. Lando Norris is going again, but isn't going to improve. How about Liam Lawson? What is his second sector time? A 44.6 from him. That's not too bad. That's only just behind Lando Norris, and Liam Lawson could really put a good result in here. Could he get ahead of Oscar Piastri? Could it be a front row start from Liam Lawson? It's on the cards, and it is! Thus far, Liam Lawson is starting on the front row, but could Yuki Tsunoda take that away from his teammate? Could we see 2 RB cars in the top 3? It's potential right here, as Yuki is on the front row by only 19 hundredths of a second. Lando needed that time. He needed. The drivers are improving out there. How about George Russell as Ocon splits the 2 RB cars and is in P3? Esteban Ocon. Lando Norris is just on pole position. It was so close to a pole position for Yuki Tsunoda. George Russell is improving as well, so George Russell could still get pole. Lando Norris with a mega last sector there of a 23.4. That is needed. 7 tenths on the rest of the field at the moment. But how about George Russell? He is going quick, George Russell, but not quick enough than Lando Norris, it seems, as Norris goes P2 and will start on the front row. But how about Charles Leclerc? Will he do it instead? No! Charles Leclerc only goes P6, and we have a front row of Lando Norris and George Russell. I take it back, Mercedes. You timed it correctly. Yuki Tsunoda is on P3, Ocon P4, and Liam Lawson in P5, all ahead of the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. And how quickly things have changed. That crash from Alex Albon has been so costly for them, because he's not on the front row anymore. He'll be starting P7, and Oscar Piastri is in P8. Wow. Oh my God. What a qualifying session, guys. What a qualifying session. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Take a deep breath, guys. Take a deep breath. Oscar Piastri faltering there at the end. The 2 RBs, Liam Lawson on the front row for a second. For a brief second, Tsunoda was less than 2 hundredths of a second behind Lando Norris. Unbelievable. What a qualifying. Love the rain. The great nullifier. The great nullifier. W's in chat for this qualifying, guys. W's in chat. What a quali. I mean, if quali is anything to go by, we're in for a stormer of a race this afternoon, guys. Stormer of a race. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. Hit that like button. Let's get this stream to 1,000 likes if you can. Of course, we'll be back this afternoon for the race, which is going to be just... I mean, that is... How mentally draining must that qualifying session have been for all of those drivers? That is, let alone what the race is going to be like this afternoon. So let's have a run through our grid for this afternoon, guys. Lando Norris is your pole position sitter. He's done exactly what he needed to do. Job number 1 done for the McLaren driver, trying to capitalise on the misfortune of Max Verstappen today, and of course his 5th-place grid penalty, which we will get to shortly. George Russell, late in the day there, P2 for him. He is starting alongside Lando Norris, and I thought they'd made a mistake by sending him out too late, but Russell got the job done. Yuki Tsunoda in P3, so close to a front row start, but of course that gap there too big in the end between the Mercedes of George Russell and Yuki Tsunoda. But to have 2 RB cars starting in the top 5, Esteban Ocon, who was on the pace from the get-go in this rain-hit session, is deservedly so in P4. Liam Lawson in P5. It looked like he might be on the front row very briefly as well, but regardless, great from both Yuki and Liam Lawson there in the RB cars, considering their big brother team of Red Bull are starting way further down the grid. Charles Leclerc just couldn't get that Ferrari underneath him in these wet conditions, and it might be a bit of a struggle of a race for him this afternoon if that is a clear indication to go, if that is any indication to go by in P6. Alex Albon, as we know, was in P2, looking like a front row start from him until we brought out the red flag by a horrendous crash into turn 1. And well, I'll be very surprised if Williams can get that car repaired for this afternoon. Oscar Piastri left faltering. He unfortunately made a number of mistakes through the first sector, turn 1 and turn 2. Lucky not to be in the barrier himself with a spin earlier on. And well, he is in P8. But importantly for Lando, he is ahead of... crossing the white line at pit lane entry for Yuki Tsunoda. Please don't give Yuki a penalty. Please don't give him a penalty. We can see that Oscar Piastri, yes, P8. Importantly for Lando, though, he is ahead of Max Verstappen, which is what he needs him to be. Alonso and Stroll both crashed out, so they're starting in P9 and 10. It's a tall order for them to get the cars repaired for this afternoon. I think Lance Stroll will be okay, but Alonso has basically broken three sides of his suspension. Bottas, great drive from him in P11. Now, Max Verstappen, guys, is not starting in P12. He, with his 5-place grid penalty, will start in P15. Sorry, P17. My maths there. Will start in P17 behind Lewis Hamilton. So, Max Verstappen not happy about the red flag. As we mentioned, the red flag was delayed slightly by the sounds of it in regards to Lance Stroll crashing. Max wasn't happy about that. He thought it should have been called a lot sooner, and that did supposedly allow a number of drivers to complete their laps and push the Red Bull drivers out of Q3. So Max will start P17. Maybe the pressure starting to get to him in this championship battle. There's a potential of a big point swing this weekend. Sergio Perez in P13, also complaining to his team about when he was put out there on the grid. He wasn't happy with being left out there so late. Sainz crashed in P14. He'll go up a position for Max Verstappen. Pierre Gasly will also go up a position as well. Bit unfortunate for him. He looked like he was comfortably going to make it into Q3, but the timing of the red flag also he was a victim of. Lewis Hamilton, a poor day from him, a poor weekend, complaining about the car, not happy. I think the one and only thing he was looking forward to this weekend was driving Senna's car, but even that has been taken away from him. So as much as he no doubt is enjoying his time in Interlagos, he isn't definitely not enjoying it out on track. Ollie Behrman in P17. Colapinto was another crash. He brought out the first red flag, but the car looks to be intact. Very fortunate for him, but he'll be starting down in 18th. Hulkenberg in 19th, and Zhou Guanyu will be starting in 20th. And that is your grid for this afternoon, guys. Starting this afternoon, yes, big implications for the championship. Both the constructors and the drivers. McLaren could be walking away here at the end of the weekend by extending their lead quite considerably over Ferrari, with only Charles Leclerc in the top 10 as it stands, and in P6 nonetheless. And of course, over Lando Norris over Max Verstappen in the championship standings. If Max Verstappen was to, let's have a look at the permutations here. If Max Verstappen was unable to score a point today, and well, anything is possible in these conditions. Of course, I know lots of you have more faith in Max Verstappen than that, but let's just have a look. If Lando Norris wins this race and Max does not make it into the top 10, let's have a look at what those permutations are. Championship predictions aren't there, so I'll have to look at the championship standings as they are. Drivers, driver standings, F1. So at the moment, we can see that 367 to 323. So Lando would get 323 points. Would be on 323. So that'll give him 358. I think it is. 323. Oh, hang on. 323 add 50. Add 58. Add 25. He could get fastest lap. I'm just going to say 25 points. It'll be 348. Max Verstappen is on 367. So 367. Take away 3. 4. Was it 348? 19 points. 18 in fastest lap. Now with 3 race weekends remaining and a sprint race in there as well, that leaves us with a very, very intriguing remaining race. 19 points divided by 3, guys. 3 race weekends means he only needs a 6-point advantage in the remaining 3 race weekends. That is literally Lando winning the last 3 races, and he would beat Max Verstappen because there is a 7-point gap between him and between first and second. So wow. Wow. Big permutations potentially here for the championship. No wonder Max is not happy. He has a tall order ahead of him, of course, with maybe weather conditions getting a bit more severe for this afternoon. We will see. Maybe, hopefully, race will not be postponed, but it could be. And yes, if it could be that we see a rolling start, which is what will be happy. But Lando Norris will be happy to see that. But yes, we're in for a cracker of a race this afternoon, guys. That is for sure. But yes, guys, unfortunately, Yuki Tsunoda is being investigated. Unfortunately, you can see here, he is being investigated for crossing the white line at pit entry. I really hope he doesn't get a penalty for that. It'd be a real shame for him. So, yeah. We'll stay tuned for that, guys. Stay tuned for that. It's a big question who will start from the pit lane. Sainz, Albon, Stroll, Alonso, Colapinto. It's a bit of a plus for Max to gain some places. Yeah, so I think there is a difference. There is a change in rule, Dusko, on the... There is a change in rule on sprint race weekends, but if you crash and you're allowed to basically replace the parts while braking part firme, basically, and you're able to start from from your grid position, basically. That's what George Russell was going to be allowed to do in Kota, but they didn't do it. They ended up starting him from the pit lane. So yeah, I think we'll see a few drivers start from the pit lane. We might not see some drivers start at all. So don't worry, Max will torpedo Lewis at the start and be nowhere in front. It's going to be tough for Max. I mean, he's starting in P17, and regardless of his talent, I mean, we know the lack of visibility here in wet weather conditions is massive, and that's what might delay the start later on today. It's okay for qualifying, but the start may be delayed because of that, so we'll see. But yeah, he's definitely starting in the carbon fibre zone, that's for sure. Less than 3 hours, yes. So we have qualifying will just over 3 hours. The race will start 3:30 UK time, so just over 3 hours from now. I'll be live at 2:15, maybe the half-hour mark. Actually, I may go live half an hour before the race session starts because I need to have some lunch and spend time with baby and so forth. So I may just alter that time to the half-hour mark. And with it being wet weather conditions, there's probably not actually really anything to discuss in regards to strategy. Basically, take it as it comes, I think. It said no further investigation. Oh, cool. Yeah, review. No further investigation. Done. Top. So Yuki will start in P3. Wicked. Will VCAR be getting special orders? Ah, I know. I mean, if they can get ahead of Lando, of course, you know they will. But I don't think there'll be any. I mean, you can't do any special orders like that, can you? Lickif, I'm not going to answer your question if you keep spamming it. You've asked that already, and I don't know what you mean in regards to who's Fernando Alonso in equal machinery with as well. So, Max 0 points today and Mega Childish Lash out at the end. I mean, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. So, just waiting to see. Hang on. Oh, F1 Lewis Hamilton's centre lap cars are still happening. Oh, cool. So, just watching Stroll's crash again. Oh, red flag took 40 seconds to come out. So they're not happy. So Max was running in P10 at the time when the red flag was thrown. So, some went just before the red flag was thrown. So some drivers were able to get ahead of him. But look, sometimes the rub of the green, it goes your way. Sometimes it doesn't. I mean, look. He had the biggest rub of the green in 2021, and it seems to be that some misfortune has gone against him this time around. Christian Horner, let's hear what he's got to say just before I disappear. Horner stating he doesn't understand, of course, why it took so long. 40 seconds is a long time. Yeah. He says that he does understand, but there's lots of things going on at the time. She's kind of giving a little bit of benefit of doubt, but he is obviously not happy. So, but anywho, we will have a day's take that and keep it pushing. Yeah, exactly, Jem. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. And I think, Christian Horner actually is very much like very accepting of it. He's like, look, it is what it is. A question needs to be asked, and I think it is a valid question. I think it is a valid question, as I mentioned earlier. I think with Hulkenberg yesterday as well. I mean, do they have... there's clearly not enough information that's being relayed to them to race control, to detail to them, but look, they cannot get this car going again. And that this car has a lot of damage or so forth. They're clearly... Maybe there's a breakdown in communication. Maybe they've not got all the video footage that they need. Of course, a lot of information to keep. I'm not in race control. I have never been in race control, so I don't know what they have to do and how much information they've got to cover. So, yeah, it's not ideal, of course, for Max. He was on the wrong end of it this time around, but it could quite easily have been Lando Norris who was on the wrong end of it at some point. So, Max was in P11, by the way. Oh, what, when I think it was more so when... So, can we go replay on this? I think we can go replay on this. Let's... I'm just going to change scene, guys. I'm going to try something. let me just look at something here. So it's still down as watch live. Okay, so I have to go back on my TV coverage. We'll look at this just one quickly in regards to where Max possibly could have been. I think they're arguing, Red Bull now, from what I heard from Christian Horner, they're basically arguing that if the red flag came out straight away, there would have been enough time to have an outlap. There was 1:37 left on the clock when Lance Stroll crashed. So if that's the case, I think that, yeah, that's probably a valid criticism. So I'm just waiting, just going back to see where this happened. So when did Lance Stroll crash? Let's have a look. So it's... So... Just going through. Sainz crashed. We had the red flag for Sainz. And then... 2:57. So let's have a look at this, guys. If you, let me move you up here. So let's have a look here, right? So let's have a look here. So when does Lance Stroll crash? So keep an eye on Lance Stroll. He's here. So let's do it from here. So Lance Stroll is going to crash very shortly. Keep an eye on the clock. Max Verstappen. So where is Max Verstappen when Lance Stroll crashes, and what is the timer? So Lance Stroll goes up into P4. So Max is down into P10 at this moment in time. Lance Stroll is about to crash. So Lance Stroll crashes there. So Lance Stroll crashes there. And I know obviously if someone crashes instantly, they don't sometimes know instantly when someone crashes to throw that red flag. There is always a slight delay. You'd probably say 10, maybe 10 seconds or so. Okay, so yellow flag is thrown, but a red flag is very rarely thrown instantly. So who pushes Max out? There's 1:37 left. Is it Charles? So Charles pushes him back, literally. Ignore the track map because it's slightly delayed. So the data suggests that Charles Leclerc, I think that's, I don't know. I feel like that's a delay of, when does the yellow flag get thrown when Stroll crashes? There. So he crashes on 1:38. Yellow flag thrown. Nah, I'm sorry. I think they're clutching. I think maybe now they're clutching a little bit of straws. I think you're asking for a red flag to be thrown 2 seconds within him crashing, within that yellow flag being thrown. I think that's... I actually, when you look at it and you break it down there, I actually don't think there would have been... I mean, yeah. So, I think that's... Yeah. 1:36. They're claiming, oh, Max at 1:37 was in P10. Yeah, but 1 second later, you're in P11. And Lance Stroll crashed 3 seconds prior to that. Oh. Max crashed 3 seconds prior to that. So if we look at that again. Yes, exactly. And Stroll attempted to move the car as well. So there is that element of it. So I actually don't think, yeah, he's just ended up on the wrong side, isn't he? Wrong side of the coin this time around. So there you go. I mean, as soon as his marker stops, the yellow flag is thrown. So you're talking maybe 5 seconds. Let's give him a bit leeway. He crashes at 1:40. And then at 1:36, you're talking 4-5 seconds max from, no pun intended there, from Stroll crashing to then Charles Leclerc crossing the line and pushing Max out. So let's say if the red flag is thrown in like within 5 seconds, Max is out anyway. So it's Red Bull's fault for sending them out too long. So yeah, I mean, I think that's why Christian Horner, it's not necessarily embarrassing. You've got to fight your corner. You've got to ask the question. But looking back at that, actually, I mean, yeah, maybe because Lance Stroll was moving, but they should have probably thrown the red flag as soon as they knew that Lance Stroll had half of his front wing missing and his rear wing missing. But which indicates to me they didn't actually have that information available, which is a question that does need to be asked. So. But yeah, that's the breakdown there, guys, basically, of that. If you could hit that like button, it'd be much appreciated. Oh, we're 20 likes away from 1,000 likes. Go on, guys, you can do it. You can do it. Yeah, I mean, look, it happens, Sin. I mean, arguably, you could say, and I don't want to go back to 2021, but you could arguably say Max was on the biggest side of fortune and luck that has happened in F1 history in regards to 2021 and what happened there. So, at some point, it's going to swing. You're not going to end up on the right side, and this could be with that 5 place grid penalty. It's going to be really. I think that's why Max is more angry, because he knows he's got that 5 place grid penalty. If he didn't have that, he'd be upset, but he'd be like, it's not too bad. I'm only just outside the points, so yeah, get some sleep, Taco. We'll see you back here in a few hours' time. Yeah. Surely the cars on flyers after the red flag area can complete their laps. No, I mean maybe that zone is a red flag. I don't know. I think it's just they just want to nullify the race circuit, really. So I mean, it's definitely maybe a question that has been asked or not asked in the future. So apparently they are saying it is brake failure for Albon now. They're confirming Alex Albon had brake failure. Oh my god, what a time to have brake failure. Oh god, talk about bad luck. Talk about bad luck for Alex Albon. So 1k likes, thank you guys, much appreciated as always. Red Bull sulk all the time. No other teams act like that. Come on, I think other teams have done. I mean, Toto has been sulked before, hasn't he? Mechanics already racing. Ferrari got their car back. Yes, yes. Is this my biggest quali stream in terms of likes? I think so. I think maybe 1.2 before. So broiling with the hottest puns in F1. But yes, guys, I would love to stay in chat. You know I would love to. However, I have not had anything to eat. I need to go top up on caffeine and see how the missus is and the little one is. So we'll be back, of course, in a few hours' time. In 2 hours' time, we'll be back, guys. I'm going to just alter the stream. I did say at 1:15. If I can get live at 1:15, I will. But I'm going to change the upcoming live stream to 1:30 is when we're going to go live. But if I can go live 1:30? No, sorry, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, sorry. If I can go live at 1:45, 45 minutes before, I will do. But it will be a 3 o'clock start for us. Okay? Or half an hour before. But yes, guys, have a lovely... what is you doing? What are you doing? But yeah, guys, have a lovely rest of your... have a nice lunch, dinner, wherever you are. Go get some well-needed sleep if it's early in the morning for you. Stock up, and we'll be back in a few hours' time for what is going to be an absolute crazy race. I just see it now. See it now. So yeah, go stock up, guys. We could be in for a long one as well this afternoon, with postponements, with red flags. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to have? So yeah, big thanks to the subs and the members as always, and the likes. And yeah, we're in for a good one. See you in a few hours. Bye.